it's really hurting Jewish people around the world, where people, I think, are now going to, somebody like you and so many others, Americans who are Jewish or whatever the hell they happen to be. But, people will now identify their religion with the actions of a country that's doing some really bad things, which is incongruent and shouldn't happen. But I fear that it's going to,
By design. I mean, if you think about the logic of Zionism, the objective, as spelled out by Israel's first prime minister, David Ben-Gurion, in his memoirs, was an ingathering of all Jews in the world and construction of high population density, low-rise projects all across the Negev desert to accommodate them. But how do you get all the Jews in the world to move to this Spartan settler colonial, consistently embattled apartheid state? It doesn't seem very appealing. Well, you have to make their lives miserable in the outside world. And the only way to do that is through anti-Semitism. So the more anti-Semitism that Israel triggers and inflames by identifying as the Jewish state while it's slaughtering children and shredding them to pieces on camera day after day, the better for Israel to justify itself as a sanctuary for all the world's Jews who suddenly become hated in their own communities and say they can't feel safe at the Glastonbury Festival because people are chanting death to the IDF. Well, move there. But the funny thing is, things have gotten so bad in Israel, which is due for another credit downgrade, that nobody is actually moving there. All the Zionist billionaires who are complaining about Zohran Mamdani being the next New York mayor are all planning to move to Boca Raton.
It's the Homeless Left with Matt Weinglass and co-host Jay Scott. Episode 118. We protect the IDF, but not the Palestinians. And a real fake news update. And here's your host, Matt Weinglass.
All right, we're doing it, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There it is. There's the right box. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Homeless Left. I'm your host, Matt Weinglass. This is your non-tribal approach to news channel. That's what our show's about. That's what we've been doing here for the last 2 years. We welcome everyone who's been part of our mission to be in a non-tribal space and look at the world critically. Everything that happens as the world speeds up and people are more in tribal mind than ever, we try to create this space to be non-tribal. It has a community vibe, but it certainly isn't about following a bullet points. You got to check these boxes to get in the door. We don't do that here at The Homeless Left. So once you take off those tribal glasses and put on those critical thinking skills hats again, actually, we've always had them. They're in our heads. They're our brains, our actual brains. They exist and they're here to be utilized. And that's what we're doing here on The Homeless Left. We happen to be homeless from the left. You could be homeless from anywhere else that you feel you've had enough. You've had enough of the tribal politics. You had enough of being told to punch down and be mad at your neighbor and all this stuff that keeps us divided and afraid of the wrong stuff. The people that control all the media, the people that control Fox and CNN and MSNBC, spoiler alert, it's the same people, same billionaire class, and they're designed to give us propaganda every day to keep us divided and keep us afraid and keep us confused, really. A lot of times people are just confused, and then they just go to their talking points from their tribe, the approved talking points, and then they can feel the feelings they're supposed to feel and just get on with the day, and that's about it. But we aim for a little bit something more, I don't say advanced, but just more in tune with humanity, which is about being curious, about asking questions, about having some sort of principles and some sort of moral compass that we can find from anywhere. It doesn't have to be told to us by our tribe. It doesn't have to be told to us by our party, by a candidate that we're supposed to bow down to and hero worship. They're not telling us what our moral compasses are. It's also not being told to us by our church. You could be part of a church and have access to whatever you feel connected in that arena. That's great, but we're finding our own moral compasses on our own. They're not being dictated top down to us, and that makes it a lot easier to get through the world and you get through the day-to-days and all the chaos that we seem to be living in right now. And we go at it with curiosity. We don't go at it with fear, but it's good to acknowledge everything that's going on, look into things, do your own research, and have discussions. I think that's the most important part. And we do that certainly on the show. We have discussions and sometimes some healthy discourse. And that's also good to have as well, because it can help us maybe evolve our thoughts, change our minds occasionally. Just, or at least case minimum, bare minimum, conversations are about going for understanding. Okay, let's get into the show. We had a little late start. Apologies on that, getting everything set up. But we have a great one for you. I just first want to say that opening, that was Max Blumenthal. We know that it's about investigating what Zionism is and investigating this anti-Semitism push, that we have to make that the number one priority in all of our fields right now. Even RFK Jr. tells us it's the number one priority for health concerns. So we get curious, we get skeptical, and then we come to even a further conclusion that by design, Zionism needs anti-Semitism to exist, and then things start making a little more sense about the chaos we're seeing day to day. So we have a lot of stuff to get into today. We are on the Rumble channel normally every week. All of our shows are available. You guys can go back and watch all of our content. We never take it down on Rumble, and that's the Homeless Left. Now, our Homeless Left YouTube page, as a lot of you guys know, got terminated. It doesn't exist. We do have a new channel, and officially, as of now, I'm going to announce we officially monetized. This is a great moment to, I suppose we can do a little celebration. I'm not so, in that mindset. I'm still skeptical, but it's definitely a significant moment, nonetheless, that we officially monetized, which means we can do super chats. There's a lot of stuff we can do, have access to, but more than anything, and we've heard this from our colleagues, Craig Pasta, Fiorella, others that have been doing this for the years, that have gotten them a little more knowledge, and we're just kind of learning as we go here. But apparently, even with all the censorship battle, even with all the shadow banning and all the curveballs and the strikes, apparently we're higher up in the algorithm now on YouTube. So I hope that's the case, and I hope we can see the results of that, because that's the most important thing, that people have access to what we're doing. That's the most important thing, and that's why we do this more than anything. And you guys help us do that. So thank you to everyone. It's been part of our journey. Again, I'm skeptically celebrating today with THL Presents on YouTube officially being monetized, which means we're legit. Of course, at any day, they can just pull the plug. They can do that anytime they want, because they did it before. So that's fine. If that happens, we'll just think of a new name, because we never run out of names. We'll just start again. And that's how it's got to be. With that said, and we are going to have, we're going to be joined by Jay Scott here in just a bit, our co-host for today. You know him, you love him. That's going to be great. We have a lot of stories to get into with him, but we like to start Tuesdays off with real fake news updates. So let's go ahead and get to that, and let's get moving. Here we go. And you guys, we do engage with you throughout the show. We will be doing a talking back today. We will prioritize super chats, and that's also on Rumble rants. We'll prioritize those, but we'll try to get to as many as we can today. Okay, with that said, let's get to some real fake news. Here we go. It's your real fake news update, not brought to you by Pfizer. We're going to look at the Glastonbury concert that happened out in the UK. This is a 4-day festival, and the big news is the Free Palestine movement got very loud. It got extremely loud. It got so loud that there were repercussions, and the person that took the hit, the duo that took the hit, is Bob Vylan. Let's look at CNN's report on what happened and the consequences of his behavior of standing up against genocide, standing up for Palestinians, and calling out the real terrorists, which are the IDF. Okay, let's see what CNN reports on. Bob Vylan's Israeli military chant prompts U.S. visa cancellation and U.S. criminal probe. Oh, wow. Military chant? An Israeli military chant. I guess they're saying that might be a criminal thing to do. Okay, well, let's look a little closer at this one. Here we go. I'm not seeing this on my screen. Give me a second, guys. Let me bring it up on another one. But I'm thinking you guys can see it, so that's good enough. Okay, here we go. Members of the British punk rap duo Bob Vylan had their visas revoked by the U.S. and are under investigation by local police after leading a crowd to chant "Death to Israel's military" at a UK music festival this past weekend. Monday, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, Christopher Landau, said that the State Department has revoked the U.S. visas for the members of the band in light of their hateful tirade as they were leading the crowd in death chants. He added that foreigners who glorify violence and hatred are not welcome visitors to our country. The group was slated to go on a U.S. tour. We saw, actually, they were supposed to come here in November. It starts in October. Apparently, that's not happening anymore. The State Department instituted an aggressive visa restriction and policy for alleged support for terrorism and, of course, anti-Semitism. The third biggest festival, which is Glastonbury, the main rapper, Bobby Vylan, he was on the stage and he shouted "Free, Free Palestine" before leading the crowds to chants against the Israeli military. The video that shows the rapper shouting into the mic, all right, but have you heard the one? This one, though, "Death, death to the IDF." That's Israel Defense Forces. On Monday, the BBC admitted that with hindsight, the performance should have been pulled from air during the performance, saying that the corporation respects freedom of expression but stands firmly against incitement to violence. The anti-Semitic sentiments expressed by Vylan were utterly unacceptable and have no place on our airways. Vylan's music incorporates a variety of genres with lyrics that often confront social issues such as racism, sexism, and economic inequality. Well, that's interesting. CNN let us know what the band usually does, which is very consistent. They confront social issues such as racism, sexism, and economic inequality. So, shockingly enough, according to this, what this article is telling us, that they went off the rails and are doing something that's the opposite of that, even though we know that fits exactly into confronting social issues, which would be, bare minimum, the inequality of Palestinians not being represented in any way, shape, or form, just on basic terms of their right to live, which seems to be something we're not allowed to do when we chant "Free Palestine." So when you target the IDF and say these are the people, these are the actual terrorists that are murdering Palestinians every day and celebrating the murder of innocent babies and women and children and men and all sorts of people that they're just annihilating and targeting. When we point that out, that by definition, according to all the major news companies, is the terrorism. So as you guys know, as you can see, we are living in a very backwards world right now. Okay. So hold on here. Let me get my, okay, here we go. So, to follow up with that, here's Sky News giving us the breakdown of the consequences to the performance.
Now, we've got some breaking news for you regarding that story at Glastonbury. The police have announced, Avon and Somerset Police, that they are launching a criminal investigation into the performances by Kneecap and Bob Vylan we were just talking about there. I can bring you, I think, a little of the statement that the police have issued. They've said video footage and audio from Bob Vylan and Kneecap's performance at the Glastonbury Festival on Saturday has been reviewed. Following the completion of that assessment process, we've decided further inquiries are required and a criminal investigation is now being undertaken. A senior detective has been appointed to lead this investigation. This has been recorded as a public order incident this time, while our inquiries are at an early stage. The investigation will be evidence-led and will be closely consider all appropriate legislation, including relating to hate crimes.
Hate crimes. That's right. Hate crimes. We didn't show you guys the video if you guys missed it. Let's see the actual thing that happened, and keep an eye on the crowd and listen to the crowd as they are responding to this outrageous call to violence that everybody should have just said, hey, man, that's too far. No, it's actually the opposite. This is what free speech looks like. So an open criminal investigation, revoked visas, setting an example. You have the BBC apologizing profusely for just not turning off the feed immediately when he started chanting his horrible things, because as we know, the only people that are violent apparently are the people that are calling out the IDF and their war crimes and their terrorism and their targeting of innocent people. Because, you know, Israelis, they don't behave that way, right? They don't do that, because if they did, we would hear about it and we would hear about penalties for them as well. It's not like the Israelis chant death to Arabs or burn Palestine to the ground, burn their villages down. It's not like they do stuff like that, right? May Gaza be erased. You know, maybe the BBC should have had cameras on this festival, and that would have qualified their standard for what is acceptable TV airing or not. Because Gaza being erased and villages being burned to the ground, that's a little more appropriate with nonviolence ideals, right? I mean, that would be the thing, and I would hope that CNN would make that point. But of course, they don't, because they're all protecting the Israel narrative that this doesn't actually happen, and these are just one-off incidents. Yeah, that's probably a one-off incident, Matt. That's just, you know, you dug one up and just, that's a weird dude that did that, and people were very upset about it, and it'll never happen again. Well, except for this. A good Arab is a dead Arab. A good Arab is a dead Arab. That's not inflicting any violence. That's not suggesting any violence of any sort, right? Well, okay, Matt. So that's going on over in, you know, Israel. If that happened here, if that happened like here in the U.S., we wouldn't tolerate that, right? Right? What about in New York? Oh, I thought I saw CNN's logo. Oh, that's not CNN's logo. That's right. They probably missed this. I mean, this is not like this is happening right here on the East Coast in New York. This is what's happening. The chant is death to Arabs. Just if you guys missed that part, the chant is death to Arabs that they're doing in Hebrew. The chant is death to Arabs, just to be clear.
Your John voice is going on.
Okay, well, that's a lot. Of course, that's really bad, and it's bad that CNN doesn't cover that, and it's bad that BBC doesn't cover that, and they're so concerned about their festival where you're calling out the IDF. What about the children. It's not like the children are doing this kind of stuff, right? It's not like the children. It's the Palestinian children. They're the ones that are growing up. If they get too old, they're going to become terrorists. So we have to kill the babies before they grow up to become terrorists, right? That's the Palestinians. The Israeli children, they don't behave like that, right? They would never get together and like sing a song about murdering and annihilating Gaza, right? Oh, I guess they're about to sing a song called "We Will Annihilate Everything in Gaza." And this song, so this song was videos created by a public relations firm. Oh no. Autumn night falls over the beach of Gaza. Planes are bombing, destruction. Look, the IDF is crossing the line. Those are the good guys, remember? To annihilate the swastika bearers. Let's annihilate them. In another year, there'll be nothing there. And we will safely return to our homes within a year. We will annihilate everyone. And then we will return to plow our fields. What part is worse? The annihilating every single person, every single human being in Gaza, or is the worst part what they do after that, which is return to their homes, right? Their homes and plow their fields. Which is worse? Well, murdering people is the worst, but the mindset of this is ours and we will take it is also part of the mantra, and it's taught very, very early to young kids in Israel. But of course, that's not the discussion we're going to have. We're going to talk about a rapper on stage, not just, we say free Palestine every day, and they've already said that's hate speech. So he's taking the next step. He's saying death to the IDF. Now, you can have a problem with that and say, well, it's a little too far. It's a little too far. Okay, have that conversation. But while you're having that conversation, I choose instead to take a look at the actual IDF and what they're doing. What is the IDF up to? This is a interesting little gathering. I guess this is some sort of what do you call this? Kind of a moral compass boosting that they do, like before they go into murder mode, or maybe this is getting them ready for murder mode. That's what this is. I'm coming to occupy Gaza. I stick by one mitzvah to wipe off the seed of Amalek. Wipe off the seed. So that's the actual IDF. These are the people that we're supposed to protect their feelings, right? We don't want them to think that we have any critique of their behavior. Well, why is it so? I know. I got it. I got an idea. Maybe it's just that adrenaline. You're with the boys, right? You have to do, it's kind of like locker room talk, right? Grab them by the pussies. It's locker room talk, right? Murder all those people, murder all the people in Gaza. Yeah. Maybe someone just needs to go fly over there and have a little heart to heart with these guys. Let them know that they shouldn't be doing this anymore. That would be a good idea, right? Why don't we send over a trusted podcaster that we all know and love? Of course, I'm being facetious. Let's see. Destiny. That's a good choice. Let's bring Destiny over there, and he can have a heart to heart with these guys so they don't behave like this anymore.
Israel has unique issues. Here's the one piece of advice I'll give you, okay? If you're joining the IDF, okay? Leave your fucking cell phone at home and stop taking stupid fucking videos, okay? Because everybody's fucking you with them, okay? And if you see a soldier, okay, going through a fucking drawer, and listen, if you want to fucking wear a dress and you think it's funny, just don't fucking take a fucking video picture of it, okay? Jesus. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people,
yeah, that's a good lesson. If you're going to commit war crimes, if you're going to commit disgusting, despicable acts like murdering innocent children and women, going through their house, looking for stuff that you think is funny, and putting on dresses of the dead women you just murdered, Make sure you don't post it on TikTok or Instagram. You don't want the rest of the world to know how maniacal you are, how psychotic you are. That's the advice. Don't let the world see it. Be more like Nazis, because Nazis covered their tracks a little better. They were more aware, I would say self-aware, that it would look bad to the rest of the world. So be more like Nazis. You're a little too much even for Nazis, because you're showing off, you're bragging, and you think it's effing cool what you're doing. And so this is, again, a reaction from the Socialist Voice, reaction from the incredibly awful punishment that Bob Vylan received. The IDF soldiers have been pictured in Gaza wearing dead women's clothes, riding dead children's bikes, posing in destroyed buildings with death to Arabs, graffitied on the walls, inciting missiles destined for Gaza. But we must not say death to the IDF because it upsets them. Oh, look at that. Some pictures to back it up. There's plenty of these. This is just an example. There's the women's clothing. There's riding the bicycles. They didn't just discover these. They murdered the families, and then they put on the clothes and rode the bikes of the kids that they just murdered. And they're very happy to show off to us. Look at that. Eating some, whatever you're eating there, with writings on the wall, disgusting stuff on the wall, which I can't translate here, but it's disgusting. Here you go. Here's a missile. This is going to go kill some more people. Disgusting. So there you go. That is the actual IDF and how they behave. Not bad apples. Not we have to get rid of the bad apples and get things back to the way they need to be. That's what that is. And let's end this segment because this is a real fake news update. And I would assume that the left in America, the left, our lefty leaders, they would be the first to speak up about this, correct? Because we have such a radical lefty problem here in this country with all of our Bernies and AOCs. And now you got Mondadi. You got all these. Oh, my God, we're going way too far left. And when you go too far left, you must have something to say about defending what happened at this concert and maybe calling out some of the stuff we just showed you on this show, because they're way too far left. Who's going to do it? Bernie, why don't you go on TV and tell us what the greatest problem is right now?
The Republican Party has not just become a right-wing extremist party. In many cases, it's become like a Stalinist party, a cult of the individual. And what the party is about now is that Trump says something, and if you have an independent thought, if you disagree with Mr. Trump, if you think maybe what he's proposing doesn't work for your constituents, you're out of here.
Sounds very familiar, Bernie. Sounds like exactly the party you've been aligned with for the last however many years that we don't fall for it anymore, but how many people have been falling for the fact that you've been aligned with the same damn thing. And that's your big message to the people right now. You got nothing else to say. You're not, and again, this is our radical lefty. This is what we got. We have too much of these guys just spewing off their anti-Semitism. No, he's got nothing to say. The news stations have nothing to say about this story. And that silence is your real fake news update. Not brought to you by Pfizer. Okay, moving on. Again, apologies that we got a little bit of a late start, but we're going to get back on track here. And what better way to get back on track than bring in our trusted co-host? He always can help me with that because I do tend to go on a little long on some of these things. But let's go ahead and do that right now. You know him, you love him. Please welcome back to the show, Jay Scott.
What's going on, Matt? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Jay. Hey, sorry about our little delay here, but I know we got a lot to get into. How's it going in your neck of the woods?
Man, considering everything happening right now, I would say all is good. I can see, at least a few positive developments happening in the country. So I'm trying to do my best to, stay up to date with all the crazy stuff happening while remaining positive. So on that note, got to encourage everyone, go check out WTPnational.com. We the people party. So decentralization and unity around core issues. That's what, the country needs a little bit more of right now. So yeah, other than that, ready to go.
Ready to go. And I think, and we're going to talk a little more about that because you broke that news with us last week about the We the People Party. And I think it's appropriate that we're going to be discussing this today as others are looking for another option, which is, it's funny when people very late in the game decide, hey, do you think we might need a third option here? I don't know. Just an idea. I thought I'd throw out my crazy idea. It's like, yeah, thanks. Yeah. Good one on that one, Elon. We've been doing this shit for years, but this, yeah, I definitely want to talk more about We the People, We the People's Party. But in mentioning Elon and mentioning some of the stuff we've been seeing right now, I think we're going to get into this first story, and we're calling this breaking news because it's been in development all last night, all this morning, and I think I think this kind of qualifies. So let me set this up. I think we're all set up here to do this. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're grabbing it right now. Okay, yeah, this is going to definitely qualify as breaking news for today. Here we go. We have some breaking news for you guys today. It looks like as about an hour or so ago, the Senate has passed the big bullshit bill. Oh, did I write that wrong? I think it was big, beautiful bill. Oh, my bad. Somebody, you know what? We got to fire the guy doing the text, man. What is this? What is this? Well, it's a big BS bill, whatever you want to call it. Big, beautiful bill. It went through the Senate. Here's JD Vance, who I guess it's how poetic that our vice president had to cast the tie-breaking vote. Here is the moment, the big moment.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being evenly divided, the vice president votes in the affirmative. The bill as amended is passed.
Wow.
Man, I gotta say, Matt, Peter Thiel must be so proud right now just watching his boy who he groomed for, over a decade, just right there, being the deciding vote on the bill that protects Palantir and funnels more money right into its direction. Man, Peter Thiel must be proud of himself right now.
What a big moment. You couldn't have scripted it any better. This is a Hollywood film, man. This is what it's about. And and I don't want to give people's hopes up. I mean, if you think this is the greatest thing ever, sorry to get your hopes up. It actually has to go back to the House now for one final vote. But a lot of people said it wasn't going to go through the Senate because there were a lot of problems. And this was CNN had this out right before that. Senate passes Trump's agenda bill after a marathon voting session. And this was going all night long. So we're just getting this info right now. And I think Elon Musk kind of anticipated it would probably happen. So he was prepared for this moment. And he prepared with this when he says every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their heads in shame. And they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on this earth. And look at that. That's a precedent set by his old partner in crime, Trump, who says we can primary anybody we want. And we're going to get to the Massey thing in a second. But Elon went further than just threatening Congress members. He's threatened the entire system. And we're back to this is why this is good timing. We're talking about third party options. Musk, 4 hours later, he follows it up with this. And this was yesterday. So this is like as they're going through the voting, he tells us this. If this insane spending bill passes, the American Party will be formed the next day. And I'm going to probably guess he means after it goes back to the House. So anybody looking for this to be formed today is got to wait a little longer. But he's saying if this officially passes back through the House, he's starting a third party. Wow, Jay, our country needs an alternative to the Democratic Republican Uniparty so that the people actually have a voice.
Matt,
Elon, what a genius.
Yeah, go ahead. I just had a great idea, Matt. Why don't we make a third party funded by the exact same people who fund the first two parties and then tell people we got something new?
I mean,
that would fix it, right, Matt? That would fix it, right? What do you think?
Well, that's the actual game plan, right? He would pretend that it's a third party. But But on the surface, look at the case he's making publicly, because he's not going to tell you that part. That's Jay. You're like you hit it on the head with that one. That's what's actually going to happen. But the thing he's saying, the case he's making is, hey everyone, I got this brilliant idea. Our country needs an alternative, so the people can have a voice. I came up with this. I'm working on it, guys. I know, like, you all have been thinking, what can we do? I got the idea.
You know what it's going to be, Matt? It's going to be, they're going to call it the centralist party that is focused on issues that unite us. That's the language they're going to use. And then it's going to be dystopia. Like, when you read the fine print, they might say one or two good things. They'll probably, put some good ideas out there. They'll probably steal some ideas that are already floating around and put it out there. But will they propose anything fundamentally different from the first two parties? I mean, I guess we'll have to see. If Elon says that he's going to create this, I mean, is he just going to fund it by himself, pair up with a few of his buddies, and then they all put some money together to get it started? And we're supposed to believe that even though this guy has been working with the Democrats and Republicans and funding them for a very long time, because don't forget, Elon famously switched from the Democrats to the Republicans. So he's been part of the system for a long time. All of a sudden now, he's turned over a new leaf. All of his defense contracts and biotech contracts, all the contracts he has, it's not clouding his judgment at all. Like, what he wants is what's best for humanity, and he's going to start a third party to fight for the little guy. The richest man in the country now is about to fight for the little guy. That's how capitalism is. That's why capitalism is great. This is capitalism at its finest, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so and he's just taking a page out of the playbook. We've already seen this. We know how the Green Party functions. We know how the Libertarian Party functions. It's about reeling people away and then putting them right back in afterwards, because they're just going to say, hey, we still have to beat that other team, that they're the bad guys. We got to beat them at the end. So, but we can funnel money as much as we can in the meantime. So, I mean, yeah, this is a genius idea for him to look like he's innovative, but he's got this is another genius idea by Elon. Let's see how far it goes. But go ahead.
What I would have respected more, and it's not just because, like, I happen to be volunteering, and organizing with the We the People Party right now, but if he had joined up, say, with someone who has an important message and an important effort already going, and tried to help build on that would have been a little bit more genuine to me. But to just assume that you have all the answers, even though you've been a part of the problem, for a long time, and go launch this all by yourself, it just doesn't feel genuine to me. It feels like he's not getting his way. He's throwing a tantrum, and maybe this is all actually just a political threat, to get Trump to back down, or to lean more into his direction if he wants, because some of his contracts, are at risk right now too. So can erase that possibility also.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, this drum's heating up. I'm going to grab the bowl of popcorn as we go into this next episode between the Trump Elon feud. We're going to the next level here, but let's look at the Fox News response to Elon's assertion that about the third party, and more specifically about Elon's assertion that this big BS bill is just a big spending disaster, which is exactly the opposite, as we know, what Trump and Elon ran on, which was getting money back, right? That was the whole thing, was that we were going to find the money and get it back.
They're going to get it back and send it to space, right? Where it can work for all of us down here. Yeah, why not?
Get it back and send it to space. Okay, so here is the response on Fox News.
Says this: it's obvious with this insane spending bill, increases the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. We live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. And he's probably going to start one if this passes. What's your reaction? You guys famously tangled in the White House.
I admire Elon's leadership on rockets. I will take care of the finances.
So do you feel as though he says the $5 trillion added to the deficit? You don't agree?
I don't agree at all. Let me tell you why. Because this bill will set off growth like we've never seen before. The CBO projections only project 1.8% per year growth, which is substantially below what we saw in President Trump's first term. And I think we are going to see big acceleration here. And once you see the growth trajectory change to an upward bias, the bill more than pays for itself.
Yeah, right.
Once we blow it out the water and make all this money, all our problems will go away, man. You don't look at us, man. We got a record over here. We make money. That's essentially what he's saying, right?
Yeah, right. And so we've seen obviously a lot of critique from the left. I mean, they've been going down the list of all the problems in this, and we agree with a lot of those problems. This one was circulating today, and I just think it's important to look at. This is and these are from lefty accounts who are telling us, you know, all these things are all true. The bill would cut Medicaid, cut SNAP, cut student aid, triple the budget for ICE. So these are very important talking points for lefty, voices, which is all true. It would greenlight the sale of public lands, ban. Now this one we've been covering. This is a big one. The AI regulation, the 10-year AI regulation that states will not have any say. And again, we're into the Palantir discussion, which is very important. And I think that the left is starting to make connections to Palantir and ICE. I've seen them talk about that. They weren't talking about it when we knew that they were doing that right here in LA. The Palantir AI technology was actually the ICE raids that we saw happen here was through that technology. So they got all that. Repeal clean energy, divert funding from public schools, increase overall federal deregulation. So these are all throughout the bill. This censor nonprofits. We know this has always been a big one, the blocking access to Planned Parenthood. $50 billion taken from federal workers. Now that we can look into that one and say, well, is that, some of the DOJ stuff that maybe was kind of good, but where is that money going to? Defund CFPB, and then there's the gun silencers. So I just want to say this. Notice the one that's missing from here, and that is the military spending. Even the lefties are shouting loud as can be how horrible this BS bill is. It's interesting, Jay, that they don't list the military spending. As we know, according to Rand Paul, he told us $320 billion has been added to additional military spending.
Yeah, because we have to put rockets in space, man. Do you think that's cheap, Matt? How else are we going to, defend ourselves against the aliens when they attack? We have to put rockets in space. Don't care about our crumbling infrastructure, our terrible education, or our underfunded hospital system. Let's send that money to space where it can be put to work for everybody, right?
Yeah. But you're right, man. That's the space. It's all about space, man. That's it. That's gonna make us all feel good.
Of course, I'm joking, man. It's not just about like space, but it's like they're ramping up for more wars, man.
It's more, but it's the feel good spin. The feel good spin is that it's the good stuff that we need it for. The good stuff, right? No, I 100% hear you on that. I'm caught on the part that the most furious thing that the lefty accounts and the people that are screaming about this, they all seem to conveniently leave off the part about the $320 billion in additional military spending.
Well, I mean, they support the war in Ukraine,
exactly.
Right? So it's like you can't talk too much about the military because that could impact Zelensky, the hero who's fighting for the Ukrainian people, fighting till the very last Ukrainian person.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to keep their mouth silent about that one, which really is too bad because you could nail Trump with that. That would be a hole in one. All you have to do is say, "Peace, President, my ass. Look what you just did to the military spending, calling this a big, beautiful bill." That would be case closed right there.
Yep.
Well, they're not doing it. We are, but here we are in our little space of critical thinkers. Let's get back to that just on this topic of the Trump and Elon feud, because we're like into the next episode. Here's Trump's response to Elon. I think this was just a few hours ago too. This sounds a little funny on it, but if you guys, there's subtitles on it as well. So here, check this out. This is pretty remarkable.
He's losing his EV mandate, and he's very upset about things, but he could lose a lot more than that. I can tell you right now. Hey, Elon can lose a lot more than that.
You know, I will say Elon has actually said himself that he doesn't care about getting, funding or what's it called, financial backing for EVs. What he wants is for the American government to eliminate its financial backing of the oil industry and of fossil fuel industries to let the free market do what it wants to do. So I will say I'm very critical of Elon when he deserves it, but if what he said about that particular topic is true, I give him, his respect for it. And I agree with him because we shouldn't be subsidizing oil and fossil fuels at the expense of other energy sources, especially when, we're on the brink, of World War III, and we could see disruptions to the oil supply. Why are we still investing all of this energy into a finite resource that largely comes from areas we call unfriendly? So yeah, it's crazy.
No, it's a good distinction to make. And obviously Trump is digging at whatever he can to make Elon look completely unhinged. And that's a great way he can spin that. So I appreciate you calling that one out. But here he goes further. Here he is talking about possibly deporting Elon. Are you going to deport Elon Musk?
I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look.
We'll have to look a look.
To put Doge on Elon.
We might have to put Doge on him. You know what? And he goes, you know what Doge is, right? What? Doge is the thing. No, he's saying that's the thing that Elon created, and the monster's gonna go back and eat him. He's like, this is like, it's insane that he's doing it kind of with a straight face. Let's see, watch his face if he smirks during this. He's about to say this line here.
Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible?
Look at that smirk he had on his face.
He is funny. Trump is funny, man. I'll give him that. But yeah, I mean, like watching these two go back and forth, is hilarious because I do wonder to myself how much of this is like for show and how much of it, is actually personal. But who knows?
I mean, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that part. I mean, we talked about WWF and how there's a theater part to it, but also people can get hurt. People can get cut up. People can break their backs and their necks. It's not all safe theater,
And sometimes they might be supposed to stick to a script, but then in the moment they freestyle a little bit. Then one person gets a little bit offended, takes it too far, and then they have to figure out how to, rein it back in. So who knows, how much of that is going on?
Who knows? And then you got the Massey thing, because Massey has been, and let's cap it this segment off with Massey because this is important. This part is hardly theater. This is Trump's threats, and he puts these threats out when people are not in line with what the agenda, the attack plan, the team game. You're not in line. And obviously Massey's been the most outspoken Republican on this entire bill, the most outspoken anti-war voice, anti-Israel voice in the entire Republicans, next to obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene as well. But this guy to have this type of tweet go out, I don't think this is theater. This is real. This is anybody I endorse beats Thomas Massey of Kentucky by 25 points. Get ready. Massey's a very bad guy. So we could say, oh, he's just slinging insults, but he's talking about ending the career of the one sane guy in Congress on the Republican side, like the one guy. It's so pretty remarkable.
It's so funny. He hardly ever actually has to get specific when he's criticizing people. Like, like to his base, sometimes he'll just say, oh, this guy's terrible. He's a Democrat, corrupt, supported Hillary Clinton or whatever it is. But he rarely gets specific. And we know why he's not going to get specific with Massey, because his voters will quickly realize that Massey is more MAGA than Trump. Because if his whole philosophy is stop wasting money on wars overseas and, and stop spending in excess and deflating our dollar away, that sounds like you care about the country. And Trump can't really argue with that. So the point is just to call him bad. We're going to beat him. He got to go. Like, let's not, get bogged down in the details. Just know Thomas Massey got to go. And that's how he deals with his base.
Yeah, and then Massey fires back. And this part, you shared this clip, and I thought this was important. This circles back to the independent mind. This is what Massey's talking about, maybe anticipating that he's going to get primaried, and he's talking about doing something different, maybe something for the people. I don't know. something like giving voters an opportunity to be heard, something like that. I don't know where you might get that from, but here he is talking about it on the one guy. What's this one guy? What's this? Oh, you guys know this dude. You guys know the sit down he had. But you shared this with me, Jay. Here we go. This is Massey talking about possibly going independent. Here we go.
Is coordinating efforts against me.
Well, then at that point, that's what I'm saying. There's a party it's them against you,
which is okay. I've got a thick skin,
right? But I'm just saying, it feels like it's you guys are playing this game, but it's all against the voter. None of it is for the voter anymore. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like it feels like, I don't know. It just feels like it's the voter against the politicians, and it just starts to feel really, really scary for sure. Have you thought about becoming an independent, or is that death?
I've thought about it a lot. And one of the things that surprised me when I got to Congress is there's two of everything.
Jay, I want to let you have thought on this. How legit is this, and where's he going? And do you think there's even a chance he could maybe take a look at the We the People party and get interested there? I don't know. Or is he just showing that this is how he responds to Trump's crazy tweets? Where are you at on this?
Well, I can say if he did show some interest in the We the People party, I think he has the credentials to possibly become like a national leader in it. So I really hope, it's something that's on his radar, because even me, I'm someone who comes from the traditional left on like a lot of economic issues, but I realize that the most important thing actually is having honest politicians. And I do believe that Thomas Massey is extremely honest. And there are a few, there are a few shared connections between the Maha camp and Thomas Massey. In fact, Maha was pushing for Thomas Massey to become Secretary of Agriculture because of his farming background. So I do think there is actually some alignment on the issues because, We the People is primarily anti-war and anti-corruption and all about decentralization. And I think Thomas Massey would agree with all three of those principles. So if he was willing to, put aside, the strict libertarian ideology to find common ground with people and try to push the common ground first as he advocates for his libertarian ideology. When you combine decentralization with that message, everyone who that message appeals to and who it works for will get to hear him out. And I think he could accomplish a lot of things, because one great thing about the We the People party is it doesn't necessarily limit you from being part of other political movements and conversations too. So I already know he's a part of the libertarian movement too. So there would be nothing stopping Thomas Massey from declaring himself, say, a libertarian and a member of the We the People party if he chose to go that route. And if we had someone of his integrity and, his stature, announce a switch, into a third party, I think it would do wonders for the country. And again, like, he's a libertarian. I supported Bernie Sanders. So we don't agree on everything, but we don't have to, because if we start where the agreement is, I think that's how we make real progress in the country. So I hope, it's something that's in the works. Like I said, there is a little bit of overlap in those circles. So you never know what the future holds.
Love it. We'll keep an eye on that one for sure. Okay, that's our breaking news for today. I'm ready to get into this. We'll call this one World War III watch. This is the Israel, Iran, US. This is we need to follow up on this one. We've been covering this for a while, but this is I'll go ahead and throw the intro on, and we'll dive into this one. Here we go. It's World War III watch. Let's just face it, it's already started. Here with co-host Jay Scott, we're going to look at some of the behind the scenes of some Israel, Iran, U.S. Stuff coming out of this conflict, this 12-day war, which I guess the whole thing Trump packaged from last week. We're moving into 4th of July. We know there's been some false flag operations being discussed in the works. Last week, we broke the number one story of top censored news, which we didn't have too much information on at the time. I'm going to remind people who saw that, or if you guys missed that one, you might have missed this one because there wasn't too many details on it. But this came out in the Tehran Times last week that Israel had planned a false flag operation on U.S. soil. And it's the information they obtained, the Tehran Times in Iran. They showed that Israel was plotting to carry out an explosion on U.S. soil and subsequently blame Iran with the apparent aim of instigating a full-scale war between the U.S. and Iran. And this is just according to a source that we don't have the actual source on. They're saying that the plan involved orchestrating a destructive event, fabricating evidence. And this is, and guys, just so you, this is how false flags work. This is what you do. This is, you create, it's a production. You create a production, fabricate evidence, you implicate the person you want to implicate, which in this case would be Iran. And then you get, it's called manufacturing consent. Noam Chomsky told us how that works. You manipulate American opinion to prompt military action for revenge, because we all get into revenge mode. You did this to us, we'll do this to you. And so Iran covered this plot through information shared by a friendly nation. They won't say who that is. I still can't find out. I'm not finding who it was that shared the information. But upon learning about the attack, apparently Iranians sent the message to the U.S. officials and prevented the planned explosion from occurring. So with not much to go on, except that they reported it publicly in the Tehran Times, and this was shared by a lot of reputable, credible journalists who shared this out. And again, I say, least case, we just want to get this out there that this is officially being reported in the Tehran Times. So we take it for a grain of salt if we want, but the reason we got to follow up on this, Jay, isn't that we don't have any secret top secret information, and we have like anything like that. However, you sent us this, Jay, and I think this is very important. It seems that the Israelis ambassador to the UN actually says on camera that he wants to blow up the UN building. Let's hear it directly from his mouth. UN headquarters. What did you say? What did you say? Unnecessary building. Really? It should be closed and wiped off the face of the earth. The UN building. Because what did you say? Oh no, it's unnecessary. We should close it, wipe it off the face of the earth. That much?
That much. Yep.
That much.
And you know, I wish people could understand the difference in tones in Israel versus America on a whole range of issues. Like, you know, from Zionists, like that story you did in the last segment, that PR firm, right, you know, was putting out a video bragging about wiping out everybody in Gaza. Zionists in America don't go around talking about wiping out everybody in Gaza over here, right? Yet they're teaching it to children. Like over there, like over here, I've spoken to Zionists who tell me that the Nakba is a figment of my imagination, and it's something that the Palestinians made up, and it's not true. It never happened. Yet we just saw in the last segment that they have chants, like, you know, talking about the Nakba and telling them, oh, we're coming with Nakba too. Like, so over there, they acknowledge it and they're proud of it. But over here, they pretend it doesn't, you know, exist. And even with the Greater Israel Project, you know, they don't talk about it over here. It's a common topic of conversation over there because it shows how far, you know, Israel wants to expand, you know, like throughout the Middle East. And if Americans knew that, it would be a lot harder to sell the defensive narrative. So, you know, I think this is just, you know, another step down that road they've already been going down.
You know, I've heard another argument, Jay, that's not as insane to say it doesn't exist. I've heard Zionists talk about how they know it exists. They know the Greater Israel Project exists, but their justification is that they say it'll never happen, so we don't have to worry. So there's a lack of moral compass of the fact that to acknowledge it exists is not an issue, just as long as they can make the case that we don't have to worry about it. So that ends the conversation from their end. That ends the conversation from our end. We're saying, wait, why does it exist? What has happened? And the case they make is the reason it won't happen is because they don't have the ability to do it. And even if they did, they don't even need all that land because there's not enough. I've heard this one. There's not enough Jews in the planet to occupy that much land. But they don't use the word occupy because that's not a good. They'll say it a different way. But it's so hard. So you guys are just being paranoid about something that's just a thing.
So let me point out something, right?
Yeah.
If the goal of the establishment has been for hundreds of years to control that piece of land, because it has been since the Knights Templars, we fought over that same area in the Middle East, then as long as they have control over the governments in the area, it may not matter to them, which name you put on it. But at this moment in time, like, Israel is a really useful wrecking ball for them. So me personally, I don't believe the Greater Israel Project is possible. So but I do think a lot of most Zionists who are over there, do think it's possible and maybe rooting for it. Hence why, they talk about it in a lot of the meetings. Not all of them, I don't think, support the idea, but there is a large chunk of them that do. So, I would say if you just look at the governments in the area, they are actually getting more and more friendly with Israel. And I'm waiting to see what happens with the Abraham Accords, because, if Israel doesn't get a crazy amount of investment, like, it's going to be very tough for them to rebuild. So it's a unique moment in time right here. And funnily enough, that Simpsons episode, which I come back to again, where they talked about Saudi Israelia, that's what they called it in the episode. Who knows if maybe they didn't call something out, in that too. So, we'll see what happens. But, if you talk to people who followed the situation closely over the years, most of them will tell you that Saudi Arabia is a better partner, is one of Israel's best, secret partners, in the area. So,
and let's just remind people that the way this conflict started in Iran, and with US Iran and Trump being all Top Gun, and we're going to get our Top Gun and we're going to make it into a movie and we're going to save the day and the greatest ever, and we're the US military is the greatest ever. People don't know how we got into that. It's because of an unprovoked attack by Israel to Iran, which was targeting the actual negotiators at the table. And they took out the main guy, Hassan Salami, was taken out, like, as an actual target.
And really quick, it seems that there's evidence that came out. It was originally intended to be a decapitation strike. So they did actually want to take out the whole Iranian government. Like, it was their goal to decapitate, regime change. And they just fell back to this nuclear thing because they weren't able to kill, the supreme leader yet. But that's what I'm hearing reported.
So I wanted to piggyback on that, because we have factually covered the people they were able to execute and target and kill were the actual 4 negotiators that were supposed to be in the room with Trump on that infamous Sunday that never happened, because you had this retroactive, we gave you 60 days, it's over, you don't get your negotiation on day 62. But day 62 was planned, and that was supposed to be Trump in a room with 4 negotiators that are all dead, including the head negotiator, which his name was Salami. He's dead. His family's dead. But you brought this to our attention, Jay, that the Israel minister has admitted that they were actually attempting to assassinate the supreme leader, Khamenei, and this is him actually admitting to it. Here's the tape. Roll the tape.
למה לא חיסלנו את חמינאי?
אם הוא היה על הכוונת, היינו מורידים אותו.
אם הוא היה על הכוונת, היינו מורידים אותו? זו החלטה שהתקבלה בקבינט הישראלי?
זו הייתה המדיניות.
ולא הייתה הזדמנות מבצעית פשוט? פשוט לא הייתה הזדמנות מבצעית?
לא. לא הייתה.
הוא עדיין בן מוות?
Is he still a target?
יש הבדל לפני הפסקת אש, אחרי הפסקת אש. בתוך המבצע היינו מורידים אותו.
During the operation we would have taken him out.
האיש הזה עשרות שנים.
חיפשנו להוריד אותו, שאם הוא היה...
Or whenever they decide to restart it.
Yeah. So we were looking for him for a long time. Okay. So this has been in the works for a long time.
האיש הזה עשרות שנים מוביל.
באישור אמריקני?
Coordinated.
אנחנו לא צריכים אישור לדברים כאלה.
Okay, so he's saying we don't need to coordinate such things. So we're back to this. How much did Trump know? Did he know? he told us that he didn't know, and then he had to step back and say, I did know. And then Netanyahu famously got on ABC and said, America first means America dead. And then he congratulated Trump for lying on purpose, because that's how men do stuff. They do little reversals. And he said, Trump's amazing. You see how he faked you guys out with that lie, but he did know. And we did this together. High five. That's so all this happened so fast. I'm just trying to remind people. And now we have him admitting this was an operation the whole time, and they failed at actually taking him out, but they did succeed at the negotiators. And then, like you said, Jay, we moved into nuclear territory of, now we have to destroy these facilities, even though Tulsi Gabbard told us they're not.
Because guess what? If they didn't take him out, but they came out and admitted that we were trying to eliminate the government over there, then it would be obvious that they failed. So what Trump doesn't want to do is get embarrassed. So he has to be able to say that he won, which is why he keeps doubling down that the nuclear sites were obliterated, because he really does care about being able to say he won and he made a deal, but he just has to be able to spin it, in his own positive direction without ever acknowledging, when things don't go his way.
Yeah. And that's what he's good at. That's why he was hand selected to be the mouthpiece of the operation, because he knows how to spin things. He's really, really good. It's number one game show host, talent that he has. We're number one. We're number one, even if we're you could look at the Nielsen ratings, and The Apprentice is number 7, and he still tells us we're number one. And people, that if you say it, it's true. So America number one, we're America first, even though we're watching you follow in what Israel wants. That's what you're doing. You're not doing what you want. We can see that it's not what you want, but we're still, we're number one. This is what we do. Everything's perfect. Everything's going smoothly. I'm right again. I'm always right. And that's exactly the person they want on camera, on the tweeting, while they're conducting business as usual. It's a perfect setup for them.
Yep.
So, and then this came out, and this is important because whether you guys fully understand the details of this, or there's more to, or maybe there's more we don't know, and stuff happening behind closed doors, and we're still trying to find this out as we go every day. The bottom line is that we have people out there, not just Trump and his tweeting. We have people like Marco Rubio that's continuing to bash over our heads that Iran needs to be stopped at all costs, and this is the dangerous words that we know so well from the early 2000s. We know what this does. We understand the war on terror was an entire scam to get us to hate people over there, stop them over there, so they don't do it here. They're always people that are coming into power, have power to get nuclear weapons, or even have the power to go off the petrodollar for oil trade. Whatever the case may be, they're always painted as people that are out of their freaking mind, and we have to stop them. So here's Marco Rubio telling us, again, doubling down on Iran, that no matter what, we have a duty to annihilate them. Apologies for the music somebody put behind. I don't like the music because I feel the intensity. I don't need the music, but it's there. So feel it. Here we go. This is Marco Rubio telling us how to hate and what's coming next.
To their interpretation of prophecy, believe that it is their calling to trigger this apocalyptic showdown. And therefore, when they recruit fighters, what they are recruiting them for is to be a part of this army that is going to trigger this final showdown between the West and Islam, that Islam will win, and then the whole world will be governed under their set of rules, led by the emergence of the 12th Imam, the Mahdi, their messianic figure. Why is this important for us to understand? And why is that important for the next Secretary of State to understand? Because when you understand it, you realize these are not people you can negotiate with. These are individuals with an apocalyptic vision of the future. And they will not stop until they feel they have succeeded in triggering this apocalypse. It, by the way, is similar to the views held by the Ayatollah in Iran. And so when people that have an apocalyptic vision of the future are growing in their capabilities in the case of ISIS, or trying to acquire a nuclear weapon in the case of Iran, you understand why it is that in many cases diplomacy and engagement does not work. And in the
Yeah, go ahead.
Every accusation is a confession, man. Like evangelical Christians, like literally support Israel because they want the apocalypse to happen and all the Jews over there to get killed, so Jesus can come back and save everybody. That's why they support Israel. So it's so hilarious that Marco Rubio is saying that all this is what Muslims around the world want, but he can't acknowledge that train of thought in evangelical Christians, who are prominent, throughout our politics. So,
man, it's you're right, man. Like it's like you're talking to a mirror. Like this is us. This is the vision of apocalyptic times, and can't be trusted. And it's like at every turn, these are the things we're doing, and we're gonna fall for this again. I had to debate this Zionist over the week. I went on the show. I'm just gonna throw this out here because I didn't mention it because it's here local in LA. It's called Unpopular Opinion, and I went on. There's a studio downtown LA here. I went to it. I didn't know I was going to be debating a Zionist. I just thought he was a MAGA, but I should have known he was a Zionist. But debating on whether Trump is actually being a peace president, like he campaigned on, or if he's actually doing warmongering, and we couldn't stay on topic because Palestine comes up and he's like, it's not a genocide. It's not. And here's what Hamas is doing. And I'm sitting there going, this is insane. And he even mentioned at one point in this argument, which I have to say, I was told after that I nailed him. So it's good. I'm glad I got the practice, because if we ever bring a Zionist on the show, we'll be good. You have to keep your composure. Let them say their insanity. And then when they're going to interrupt you too. He interrupted the shit out of me, but I held my ground. At one point, he mentions Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is doing an excellent job. And I hadn't seen this clip yet, but I would have said, dude, this is the stuff he's promoting is the same stuff. And he knew that the war. See, this is the thing I don't understand, Jay. They understand that we came through the war on terror. They understand that Bush and Cheney weren't to be trusted. They know that they're like leader in chief, their guy who can do no wrong. They know he stood up on that stage and called out Jeb Bush and called out the Iraq bullshit war. And yet they're doubling down on this staff, on this team, saying we're handling Iran perfectly. And Marco Rubio is doing a perfect job. Just look at that tape we just played. This guy sounds like Dick Cheney times 1,000. Like this is what is happening right now. And it's people falling for this shit.
Yeah, I mean, people still support Israel for different reasons. I guess, even the same phenomenon we see with doctors who refuse to admit, what's going on with some potential impacts of some of the medical interventions they proposed over the past few years. Like they don't want to come to terms with maybe they got it wrong because it would impact their career. It could impact their mental health and make them feel guilty. If you've invested this much time into MAGA and now you realize that, or now we can all see that Trump is doing the same thing, just like how some medical interventions over the past few years haven't gone well, you may just block that out. You may just pretend it's not happening, try to explain it away and be like, yeah, when Bush did it, it was bad. But, Trump is smart and he knows what's best and he's playing 5D chess. So we just have to trust him. So, that's pretty much what it looks like to me.
Yeah. Well,
or there's people who were just directly financially incentivized into it because, people know sometimes their jobs may depend on it, or maybe there's an ideological reason. We just spoke about evangelical Christians who were a large part of the country. There are Zionists out there too. So it could be a multitude of reasons, but I can tell you one reason that isn't behind it is factual evidence. Factual evidence is not one of their reasons for supporting Israel. So it's something else. So
yeah, but at least we're learning, because I didn't know how the Zionist mind works before. I didn't understand it. It's basically it's Jewish supremacy, and you can be a Christian, you can be an atheist and have this supremacist mindset. You choose to have the mindset. It's very similar to white supremacy. It is white. It's the same. The only difference between Jewish supremacy and white supremacy is that Jewish supremacy, you're not allowed to criticize it or you hate Jews. I've never, ever, ever heard anybody even suggest, even minusculely suggest that if you have a problem with a white supremacist, you hate white people. And if you did, you'd be like, that's insane. I don't, if someone says I'm going to spend my whole life fighting white supremacy, I don't feel offended in the least. I don't get afraid.
Well,
okay.
no,
I don't
the
need a league. I don't need a league to tell me, a white defamation league to tell me we got your back in case anyone's coming after you. No, I don't need that. It would be insane if that existed. I'd be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just become mainstream, unfortunately. You know, an extremist ideology has become mainstream and accepted because of the Holocaust, which was definitely a tragedy. Maybe there was one or two exaggerations, maybe not, who knows. But long story short, there was something bad that happened a few decades ago. And because of that, the entire religion, because of the media's focus on it, I should say, the entire religion has now become tied, to Zionism. So, that's one of the worst things, because if the religion gets tied to the political ideology, and because they dub themselves a race too, a race of people also sometimes get tied, like to that same ideology. So it would be like, suggesting that anyone who's white has to be a white supremacist because of the fact that they're white. That's what I hear when I hear people say, criticizing Israel is offensive to all Jews. So, it's sad. And, we have to apply the same standard to everyone. That doesn't mean we don't have to be empathetic. Of course, we realize that, some Jews may be traumatized, by what, a lot of Jews are traumatized by what happened in the Holocaust, but that doesn't mean you get to repeat it to another group of people in a different place. That's not how that works. So
yeah, exactly. And then to end up the World War III section, you shared this with me. This is update on Syria, and I think this is important because this gets us a bigger perspective beyond just Zionism is a massive issue. It goes beyond that. So this is from Speak with Didi. Israel and Syria prepare for normalization of relations. The expected agreement between Syria and Israel includes formally annexing the Golan to Israeli sovereignty. Under this agreement, Israel will defend and stabilize the Syrian regime. And then I want to remind people, this is the guy in charge that we put in, the ISIS guy that was, number one terrorist, $10 million reward, is now the president.
Well,
over
Matt,
there.
How we know he changed his entire mindset and is a new leaf now? Because his beard used to be wider, but now they've like taped it in and they took the turban off, right? And so he's more clean cut now. So now he's not a terrorist, he's a freedom fighter. So, all the freedom fighters out there, make sure, take notes.
Yeah. I wonder if that reward, if anyone did Trump get that reward? Because he got that nice handshake. He had that handshake. It was a beautiful picture.
That's what the Middle East trip was about, man.
Oh, he got the $10 million.
Yeah. Had to collect the money.
He got it in gifts and prizes, and yeah. Well, so there you go. I guess they paid out. They paid it out. It was a good plan.
Yeah. And really quick, I just want people to think about one thing, right? Iran has three choices right now. They can pursue a nuclear weapon and take the North Korea route, which would mean that, they'll feel like they'll be untouchable because there'll be a nuclear power. They could continue to negotiate, with America and Israel, or they could sign a defense treaty with Russia and China. And, one thing I will say, I am in agreement with in Russia and China on this issue is they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And while I don't blame Iran for wanting a nuclear weapon, I think the more nuclear weapons we have in general in the world is a bad thing. And Russia and China are offering them a complete defense treaty where they would kind of come to Iran's aid if they commit to not having a nuclear weapon. So, they have a choice and they're going to have to decide one of those three roads. But, it is, in my opinion, if I had to guess, I would say that they're unfortunately not going to, well, fortunately, I think they will probably sign that defense treaty with Russia and China. And that's how Palantir is going to get its three-front war that the CEO has been, talking about. Because, the CEO of Palantir says that America is going to be in a three-front war against Iran, China, and Russia, within the next few years, and they're the profiteers who stand to make the most money off that. So, I would tell everyone to keep a lookout, because unfortunately, if Iran does take another route and even tries to get the nuke, we could see dangerous escalation of this issue. So pay attention to it. Don't become desensitized to all the different wars we've seen over the years. This situation in Iran is something we really have to pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, I just had an idea about how we could maybe stop World War III and improve our economy and our infrastructure here at home at the same time, Jay. I just got this idea. It's from a meme, so it might not work, but it's a good idea. I think we could maybe look into it, see if this is possible. But this would be our United States after exiling all the Republicans to Israel and all the Democrats to Ukraine. And we might be able to do something with what we have left here, and then stop all this warmongering and World War III nonsense, because that would solve it all. And it's like killing two birds with one stone. What do you think? Good plan?
Yeah, well, what's his name? Lindsey Graham, he really wanted to fight to the last Ukrainian, so he might be a little jealous because, he doesn't get to, go stick it to Putin. But yeah, I like that idea. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and that'll really be make America first. This could be maybe this could be the We the People platform. Could be let's get them all. I'm just saying, like, if you really want to put America first, we the people, let's get to work, man. I think that'd be great. But probably just
everyone. How about everyone who advocates for those wars? There should be a new law in Congress that everyone who advocates for the war either has to fight or have a family member go fight in that war, a direct family member. If they're not doing that, they can't support the war.
I like it. I like it. All right, that's World War III watch. Let's face it, it's already started. Okay, Jay, we got two more stories here. I do want to do this one. This one's very important because of the timing, because we're heading into 4th of July weekend soon. And you guys know that we had a very important conversation that happened here on the show a few weeks back. It was about 3-4 weeks ago. We had Dr. David Martin on the show with us discussing what is called the National Blueprint for Bioterrorism, which is a pamphlet, 170 something page pamphlet, which we're going to make sure you guys can get it and download it. It's a PDF. I'll show you guys can get it directly from my Twitter account. If you go to Matt Weinglass, and I'll show you a screenshot of that in a second. But this is actually, screw it, I'll put that up first. This is so you guys know this happened. And I just think I circled the 500K because we did our part. We got this out to people. This is a 5-minute clip from the interview. You can watch the entire interview on our show on Rumble. You can go back and look at it. It's like the top viewed interview we've ever had. On Twitter, we took a 5-minute clip. We threw it up there. And in the clip, and you guys can go there. It's pinned at the top of my profile. And you can actually download the PDF that he talks about. But we got this out to 500,000 people. So I feel like we did our part. So what is it? If you guys are hearing about it just now, the National Blueprint for Bioterrorism Manual is a simulation that occurred. This actually happened. It was in April of last year, discussing an event that was going to happen, a bioterrorism event that was going to kill a lot of people, 280,000 to be exact, of Americans on July 4th. And they say infect with a particular virus, 400,000 more Americans. It's kind of vague on who they were going to blame it on, but I think the idea is that they're saying it was a foreign entity and we need to then get into revenge mode. So it's kind of like, and I said this to the doctor when he was on, I said, it sounds to me like it's a best of playbook of 9/11 and COVID all wrapped together, because you do the simulation first, and they'll tell you, no one's telling us that this simulation didn't happen. Let's be very clear. They're telling us it was just a simulation. What are you guys getting all upset about? It's just, we have to take precaution just in case. Who knows? We might be attacked on the 4th. We don't know. Okay. So we did our part, Jay. We put it out there. People can look at it. You guys can still go and download it. But then something interesting happened a couple days ago, where you discovered this article from the Science Daily. And I'm going to put this up here because this will just look like another, another virus situation where they're looking at potential outbreaks, but this caught our attention, and this came out on the 25th. So this is about a week ago or less. New viruses discovered in bats in China could be the next pandemic threat, and says the viruses, as well as a new bacterial species and a new parasite, were discovered in bats inhabiting orchids near villages in southwestern China, raising concerns about transmission to livestock and humans. And this is the kicker on the summary: 2 newly discovered viruses lurking in bats, dangerously similar to Nipah. Nipah. So Nipah and Hendra. Nipah is the actual virus discussed in the summary of the simulation of the National Defense for Bioterrorism manual that you guys can go look at. It's in there. It's actually in there. And the fact that this is coming up now is very concerning, even though they're talking about it, it's the same with COVID, right? It was the bats or a monkey, or, we have to be careful. But Nipah, which we know is much more dangerous than COVID. And so this is the 2 that they discovered related to the deadly Nipah and Hendra viruses. The pathogens can cause severe brain inflammation and respiratory disease in humans. The viruses, as well as other new viruses, bacteria, and parasites identified from bat kidneys, were reported this week in the open access journal PLOS Pathogens by Yun Fen and Yunnan Institute of Endemic Disease Control and Prevention, China, and colleagues. So, Jay, what do you make of this? And before you say that, I'm going to throw this up. This is just a screenshot from the pamphlet, which you guys can go find right now on my Twitter. This is the simulation that talks about a bioterrorist attack on July 4th, 2025. And if you guys look at the lower commit, and again, this is it's like a script. They have to pretend, here we are, we're dealing with this. The head chair says, I call this first hearing, blah, 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 blah. They used infection agent to kill at least 280,000 Americans, affected at least 400,000 throughout the country in a single day. And then it also infected animals, 200,000 dead, 800,000 sickened animals. These numbers will increase as the disease spreads. Our colleagues and staff in Congress fell ill and died. So these are coordinated attacks. We talk about sleeper cells. This is the kind of conversations we've been looking into. Again, this is not meant for any sort of fear porn or any sort of clickbait. What we're saying is that this thing actually happened, and now we're seeing the same language coming out as far as the actual virus, and that one is the Nipah virus is mentioned in this manual. Jay, where are you at going through this at this point?
Given the geopolitical tensions in the world, if there is a false flag that happens and they want to blame it on someone, my guess is it'll be blamed on China. And the reason I say that is because, again, Palantir wants a 3-front war between America taking on Russia, China, and Iran. All 3 of their interests are already tied together. Russia and China have a defensive agreement with North Korea, where they would come into North Korea's defense if they were attacked. And through back channels and negotiations between Iran and those countries, they've actually been trying to, do the same thing with Iran. So my guess is, if America knows, if the American establishment knows they consider China to be the greatest threat, this could be a way to kind of drag them into it, because we don't have forever to continue doing these forever wars. And if China is trying to wait us out, and then once, we no longer have this money to spend on our military, that's when they will try to take Taiwan or officially bring it back into China. If they try to wait us out for that to happen, the American establishment could be at a disadvantage there. So it could be, and if you look at where these viruses have come from or have been portrayed to have come from in the past, they've all come from China. and there isn't too many research labs over there in Iran. So on specifically, bioweapons and, viruses and outbreaks and all that good stuff, China is known more for that. So it would be a harder sell to the American public to tell the American public that Iran attacked us with this bioweapon. If there is a false flag attack, my guess is it would be blamed on China. But, big picture, they don't necessarily have to frame it as an attack by a bio attack from a foreign country on us. If they were going to, bring out another virus, that paper could essentially be at least giving us, a few key pointers in how they plan to weaponize a new outbreak, no matter how it happens. So even if it doesn't happen exactly the way that's laid out in the paper, I still think the paper is worth reading because it's telling us what our government has planned to protect us against, biological threats. Protect. I may want to put that in quotation marks. So I would tell everyone to look at the big picture, recognize that Iran knows that it cannot beat America alone without a nuclear weapon. So they're going to have to, make a decision. So this is a very dangerous time, I would say, we're in right now. And if the goal in the American establishment and Israeli establishment is regime change in Iran, if that's their ultimate goal and they will not stop until they get that goal, then the best possible outcome, in my opinion, we could hope for is that Russia and China do actually team up with Iran. So we're not as trigger happy because America will have to think twice before going in a head-to-head battle, against Iran. So pay attention. I would advise everyone to, take precautions this weekend. Just make sure you are aware if you go out and celebrate. And yeah, I would say it's always a good idea to make sure you have some non-perishable goods, like stocked up in your pantry, just in case something happens. Because don't forget, the establishment got a lot of what they wanted during COVID. And if it's one thing they know how to do, it's how to weaponize, any crisis. So, I would say make sure, prepared hope for the best and hope it doesn't happen. But, be prepared if something does happen.
And people should download this if you haven't seen it yet. And I have the actual link. The PDF is, and I think that's because we included it there and people are clicking on it and they're looking through it themselves, which is what we have to do. And you can take it for a grain of salt or not. Like Jay, you mentioned the idea that it's not like if something does happen, is it going to follow it exactly? I always just look at historical context. I say, look, have we seen this before? Yes. Yeah. We saw this with Event 201, right? Yeah.
You know what they could do? They could also say this virus outbreak originated from China, and now look how many people it's killed. So China is a bad actor who you have to hate. So they could still use it to slowly manufacture that consent for war against China without it necessarily being a direct bomb that was set off to spread a biological agent. So they can get to the same end goal in multiple ways. But my prediction is if we do see another virus or biological attack start to spread, it's going to be blamed on China again, no matter when it happens.
For you bringing up China, and then we connect the dots with Alex Karp and the three-prong attack. Alex Karp being the head of Palantir, the psychotic dude that wants to have these three wars going on at the same time. You might be dead on this, Jay. And, during the interview with Dr. David Martin, I suggested at the time that it was China, and he went like this. Oh, yeah. But after that, I got kind of skeptical of my own guess. And I was like, this has to be Iran. I was wrong. But now that we're back to this, we already got the manufacturing consent for Iran. That's happening. We're already doing it. So we got half the country ready to do the Marco Rubio. We have to stop this, this jihadist takeover. It's total annihilation of the planet. We got to stop. So they already have that going with Iran. You set this up for China, And it was the thing that Dr. Diamar, he was saying, he thought it was China.
Do you know how easy it would be to manufacture consent for a war against Iran? Because we already know that Israel and America are funding terrorist groups over there in the Middle East. All you have to do is tell one of those terrorist groups, listen, we know before we told you guys not to attack American bases, but now it's time. Go attack an American base. We're going to say it was an Iranian proxy or the Iranians that did it. And then before you know it, if it's a big hit, they aren't even going to hesitate. They're going to respond within a day. And then if evidence comes out 2-3 months from now that it definitely wasn't the people they said it was, it's already too late. The damage has been done. So I don't think they need a biological threat to manufacture consent for that war. And if it's just a slow regime change where Israel is starting stuff and trying to assassinate leaders, and then we come in with a little extra muscle, it may just be a slow grind that they want to do to destabilize Iran until it eventually topples and starts to break apart. Because again, I come back to it. Yes, it's regime change, but not just regime change. They want to break up the country because it has too much potential power if it reaches its maximum potential. And they don't like that. They're not directly aligned with everything the establishment wants.
Yeah. All right, guys. So check it out on my Twitter. And like Jay said, have a safe weekend. Don't do the COVIDian thing where you're living out of fear and locking yourself away, and
just be aware.
Just be aware. And I was meaning to do a little more work on this Nipah virus just to see, and I think I had found something. Oh, sorry, that's
deadly. It's bad. Yeah.
So it is bad. It has minimally a 40% death rate on if you get it. But the things you can do, we need to have a more of a specific discussion about this with some doctors and scientists that know this. Not just because of censorship and we're going to get demonetized if we check our facts, but I encourage everybody to look into it. It's the similar thing that we know we've learned about this. So we know throughout COVID, we know how important immune health is. So let's start with that. Immune health is everything. If you can do things to improve your immune system, you're already getting out of that category of whatever the 0.00 death rate of COVID, 40%, whatever for Nipah, whatever it is, you can get yourself in a better category just by immune health. That's everything.
And, I want people to remember one thing, even though COVID wound up being exaggerated, and even though it wasn't as deadly, as they tried to, paint it, don't forget that a lot of the richest people and the oligarchs in this world believe the world is overpopulated, unfortunately. And just because they used the benign one on their first time, really attempting something on that scale, it doesn't necessarily mean that if there is another outbreak that it'll be another fake virus that isn't dangerous at all. Like, we don't know, what they have planned. And if one of their core beliefs is the world is overpopulated, then just don't automatically assume another virus coming out is not dangerous. I'm not saying jump to conclusions and, think it is dangerous, but keep an open mind and make sure you're looking at the facts, on hand before you settle either way.
Yeah. And we'll try and get some more info on this. And I'm going to do we'll do a follow-up on Thursday on our show as far as, if we learn anything more about the Nipah virus. And then Thursday will be the day before 4th of July, but whatever. Again, this isn't about fear porn or clickbait or becoming a COVIDian here. Like we want to stay away from that. We want to use our critical thinking and always act from a place of reason, not emotion. And I think if we do that and we promote immune health, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But it's good to see this in advance and not be playing catch up later, which I know a lot of people did with COVID. They didn't know what was going on. It took them a while to get to it, and now we're here. So let's learn from the past and apply lessons learned, and we'll be stronger from it. And I guess that's it on this story today, unless you had another thought on that. Okay.
Nope, that's it. Stay healthy, guys.
Great. All right. If we have you for a few more minutes, do you want to tag it with the last story, or do you?
Let's do that one real quick. Yeah.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do this. So, I thought this was very interesting. You found this story, Jay, about Eric Prince, the former CEO of Blackwater. Let's hear an.
And
go ahead.
Really quick, before you show the video, Blackwater, the company that Eric Prince founded, was the one that got caught on video by Julian Assange killing those first responders in Iraq. I don't know if you guys remember that big controversy that happened with the videos Julian Assange exposed, where our American mercenaries were literally killing first responders trying to help people. They were shooting them in the middle of them helping people. And this is the guy who Trump has surrounded himself with and is now listening to on foreign policy that isn't directly involved in, Ukraine or Israel. It feels to me like Eric Prince is going to be leading America's foreign policy in South America and Africa. Go ahead and play the clip, or you can pull up the screenshot. So
we'll do the clip and then we'll look at the screenshot. But this is from a few months back of last year, Eric Prince and his take on how America should conduct its foreign policy. Here we go.
All this talk of illegal migration in Europe, in the United States, it ultimately comes down to a contest of what is governance. Who is governed? Which countries are governed well? And if so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, then it's time for us to put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
National security interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris instead of actually making their country better.
People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes. Enough. Because if you go to these countries and you see how they suffer under absolutely corrupt, made-up governments that are just criminal syndicates, the people of Africa, the people of Latin America, a lot of them deserve better.
Wow. Unbelievable. And now you mentioned, Jay, about aligning with Trump. Well, how is Trump aligning with Eric Prince? I mean, he's just a guy with a loud mouth that started this horrible company that's done a lot of horrible stuff on this planet. But why would Trump do that? Well, let's see. You have this Trump. So he was a Trump supporter. He reaches a deal with Congo. This is a few months ago in April. He reaches a deal with Congo to help secure mineral wealth. Oh, I can feel Trump turning his attention right away, going, where can we make some money on a mineral deal? That sounds kind of familiar. Where's the cash to be made on this? Well, this is Congo and Rwanda signed U.S. Mediated peace deal. I'll do quotes on that one. After decades of conflict, we're getting a lot of the mineral rights as part of the deal. So he, like you say, Jay, he's kind of going in line with this, whatever you call him. As the guy who started Blackwater, now he's just kind of throwing his ideology of we have to stop everyone else because we know what's best. And he's charging all in here, making this deal, this mineral deal, as he takes over. This is American imperialism in its works. And the way you're talking about, Jay, this is aside from what Palantir is doing, aside from the Zionist agenda. He's able to pull this off in South Africa. I think you might be right here. You want to expand on that a little? Like, what are we looking at right now? Yeah.
The amount of ignorance that is on display in that clip is, absolutely astounding because, if you just take a look at the history of intelligence agencies, not just in America, but in, other NATO aligned countries, like they've literally made a foreign policy of divide and conquer to rape, continents of resources and countries of resources. So it's so funny to me how in one clip, we have Eric Prince saying that illegal immigration is the biggest problem in this country. And because of that, we need to go in and take control of these African governments because they're not benefiting their people. And then Trump, the guy who Eric Prince endorses, right, is now bragging about getting the rights to the minerals over there. So you tell me, Mr. Prince, how is it that you are part of an effort to extract the wealth from the resources in a country that is not benefiting the people, and you're going to complain when those people decide that they can't stay there because it's too dangerous and it's too poor and there's no opportunities there, and a big part of the reason that's happening is because their wealth is being extracted? You're literally driving the problem that you claim to care about. Like, you claim to care about illegal immigration, and that's why America should start getting involved in these countries. And then you directly participate in the activities that are keeping them poor. So the level of hypocrisy is completely off the charts. And to be honest with you, in my opinion, immigration shouldn't be a controversial issue. I really don't think there's that much disagreement between most Americans on what immigration policy should be. We should know who's coming in and out the country. We should probably have some limits on the number of people that can come here per year. There could be a difference between being able to work here and having full rights to vote as a citizen. Like, if we really work through these issues, it could easily be solved. And if people tied American foreign policy into the immigration issue, so many birds would be killed with the same stone. Because the moment we stop destabilizing these countries and they start to pick up some momentum and develop themselves, people aren't going to risk everything to come to America to live poor over here. Like, I just want people to think about something. Is the average African refugee coming over here and living like an amazing life, like what we would consider, an amazing life? Are they coming over here and, living like the Kardashians? No. Like, most of them who come over here are struggling to make it. They're at the bottom of society, and the ones who are illegal, like, a lot of them suffer a lot of abuse, yet they're willing to do it because the situation is so desperate over there. So if we stopped our role in creating that desperate situation, which unfortunately is a large role. And if you go back to the link I had sent you, I actually built not a total list, but an estimate of all the different countries America has overthrown or attempted to overthrow since the Second World War. And it's amazing. Like, nearly every country in South America, a bunch of countries in Africa, most countries in the Caribbean, even countries in Europe, America. I mean, like, Matt, did you know that we tried to coup the French government in the 1950s?
No, I did not know that.
We've tried to coup almost everybody, but we keep our focus on the places with the most resources that may be a little bit more vulnerable, because that's what the American corporations want, right?
That's right. So maybe I could pull this list. Is it on the one with the
it's the one with the video of Eric Prince talking.
Oh, with the video. Okay.
Yeah. And I just want people to realize that there isn't a single country that we get a significant amount of illegal immigrants from that we haven't played a large role in destabilizing, or another NATO country hasn't, greatly destabilized. So just have some empathy, guys, and realize that, it's not always 100% the fault of the people over there. Oftentimes there are outside forces at play, more often than not, especially in, Africa and South America. So,
yeah, I'm not finding the list, but I did actually grab a screenshot from your tweet. So let me throw that on here, because I think that's important. This is what he threw up there. So it looks like Trump's taking marching orders from Eric Prince. The establishment is the problem, not only Zionists. The divide and conquer strategy is keeping the African continent oppressed, driving the illegal immigration crisis conservatives rightly call out. Unite until America is self-conscious about the role its foreign policy plays in creating situations desperate enough for people in third world countries to flee at any cost, and directly links that to the illegal immigration crisis. The divide and conquer strategy will continue to flourish. Yeah. Dark money funds terrorist groups and pit governments against each other. And you say mostly NATO countries, of course. The American companies, not the American people, benefit from the resources that should be helping develop places that illegal immigrants are fleeing. It's all a coordinated strategy that Trump is a part of. He's not the internal victim of picking bad people and being portrayed that his supporters think he is. He's a deep state oligarch looking to cement business deals to ensure his family remains in the oligarchy for generations. Good take. I will just do one notch less than you and say I think his biggest want and need is legacy over. I think that he absolutely wants his family to be taken care of, but legacy is everything. And in that case, he can be easily bait and switched on himself. I don't think he fully is pretending when he says yes to something and didn't fully look into it. I think he gets very impulsive as somebody who sees his name in lights and sees, I think he actually goes to bed sometimes and dreams about a Nobel Peace Prize. I think he's delusional in that sense. But so if legacy's number one, then that I think everything you're saying into that is accurate for sure. However, there are ways you can fool Trump with his own narcissism, and he's not fully aware of all of the things he's in bed with. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to give him. I'm just saying he's not fully aware of all the horrible, nefarious things he's in bed with all the time.
And I hear you, and what you're saying is definitely a possibility. But me personally, I'm just going based on what I know about his personal history. That's why I say that, because when people underestimate, what it means to be like mentored by Roy Cohn, the architect of the blackmail operation that ties intelligence agencies to organized crime, like. That is 1,000% deep state. And if that's what he was doing in the 1980s, as RFK Jr. was trying to clean up rivers, and save the environment, not to put RFK Jr. on a pedestal, but it's just an example that people can spend their time in different ways. And it's the way Trump spent his time, I have trouble believing that he is as clueless as, people as some of the people who criticize him, think he is. That's all. So I think he is very much tied in, but he's a great actor, and he also has his finger on the pulse, which is why he knows what's popular and what's not popular. And if he has to do something that he knows is unpopular, he's gonna pretend like, well, I don't want to do it. Netanyahu, why'd you do that? Iran, why don't you just come back to the table? But the ultimate goal is to, further the establishment, man. Balkanization of Iran. It's not even just regime change or the nuclear plant. They want to break the whole country up. So, I feel terrible for what our tax dollars are funding right now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's end this segment with one more guy Trump has surrounded himself with. And this is I'm just going to play this because we've covered Alex Karp. We know how insane stuff he said. But this kind of puts a bow around pretty much everything we've been talking about today, Jay. And I'm going to leave the window open that Trump can't. Does he fully? Actually, let's just ask the question to the viewers. Does Trump fully understand how deranged of a psychopath a guy like Alex Karp is? Not to mention Eric Prince and all the people he is surrounded. Like Jay, you say, he's intentionally surrounding himself with these people for ultimate personal agenda, but is he fully aware of the psychopathic language and what's actually going on in these people's minds? Here's Alex Karp with his latest announcement, quiet part out loud to an audience who you're hearing them not fully clap. They're kind of shocked that he said this, but he stands behind it. Listen to this insanity. He says on a stage in front of an audience.
Higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower purpose. And, yeah.
That means people who think the stock is going down. That's funny.
he means it. This isn't a comedy.
Yeah.
This isn't like a shock comedy thing you signed up for. And
To be fair, I think he was kind of joking. Like I think he was. It was funny because it's true. It's like halfway of a Freudian story. I think that's why it's funny, because it's true, and that's what he really does wish. But if you were to ask him, he would tell you, "Oh no, I was joking, man. I didn't mean that."
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think no. Okay, we're gonna hear it again, and then he's going. I want people to listen. We won't. Let's just let it play. The audience is responding how they're responding. I think it's confused. I think I think half of them think it's a joke. Half of them are going that was, or if it was a joke, it's very poorly timed and misplaced. What? And then I think the rest of them that aren't responding are going, what are you going to follow up with? Like, hey, did you like my joke? Or are you going to double down? Let's hear what he follows up with, but I'm going to play it again here. Let's just I'm saying, Jay, this isn't the first time he's done this. This is the quiet part out loud. Here we go.
You need a higher purpose, and I also think you often need a lower purpose. Like the higher purpose for me.
What's a lower purpose?
Well, I love the idea of getting a drone and having light fentanyl-laced urine spraying on analysts who tried to screw us. So that's my lower purpose. And, yeah, and others. But the higher purpose for me was to get this nation to be the preeminent power in the world, because whatever faults we have, they're nothing like anyone else's.
So I think the end of that is key. Whatever faults we have, they don't compare to anyone else's. So if anyone's going to stop us, we got to get them out of our way and do the thing that we're supposed to do, which is the Zionist mindset. We know what it is. The God wants us to do this. It's dominate the world and take out our competition, take out the enemy. The enemy are journalists too, are analysts who challenge us, and we will take them out because we have a job to do and we're going to get it done. And the three-pronged war and all that shit. He's not actually joking, Jay. He's not actually joking.
He's going to tell us he's joking, though. He's going to tell us he's joking. But yeah, you could be right, man. I mean, and I don't want people to get too hung up on Palantir, the entity, right? Because just take a look at history. What happened with Standard Oil when, they controlled the world? All they did was they broke up into a cartel of smaller companies that were still coordinating efforts with each other, right? So on paper, Standard Oil no longer existed, but the same thing kept happening, just with multiple small parties. So as we're calling attention to the evil, the dystopian future that Palantir is building, it is possible that they build up so much bad press that they have to, take the Standard Oil route and kind of break it up, but still do the same things, just kind of separate it between different companies, because the amount of power they're concentrating right now is absolutely insane. So either Palantir is going to have to rebrand and somehow become like a household name, or they may wind up having to, break up the company, because people are starting to find out a little bit more about them. So just when you're thinking about how to solve this problem, like digital identity, man, like decentralized digital identity, we have to own our data and we have to own our digital footprint, and we have to control how that data is used. So, think about solutions, guys, not just about, explaining the problem.
Jay Scott, great analysis today. Great stories, great coverage, man. I really appreciated the conversations. Again, apologies, we got started late and we kept you late on this, but man, it was very important and appreciate it. Any last words for everyone, or where they can find you? We know how to find you on Twitter, but anything else?
It's right there. Yeah. Follow me on X at JS Ascension. But more importantly, I'd really encourage everyone there to just check out WTPnational.com, because we have to talk about uniting around the areas we agree. And I truly feel like the We the People Party has taken that message and built a party on that message. So you don't have to commit to it. It's not like you can no longer be a libertarian or a green. If you want to join We the People, I think it's time we take some of our power back. And I'm looking forward to getting Levi, the national chair, on next week, already confirmed. Yes. He's going to be able to explain more about what's happening behind the scenes, even provide a California update. I know we have some California viewers and you're based over there. And that's actually one of the chapters that we already have ballot access in. So big things on the way. As crazy as the world is, hope is out there. So stay positive, guys. I'll catch you later.
Love it, Jay. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Later.
Jay Scott, everybody. The We the People Party. This is, I guess this is the website, We the People Party. It's WTPnational.com. Check it out. Sounds like we just got news live on the show that we will be talking with the head of the party on the homeless left. I believe he's saying next week. So a week from today, we'll be having this discussion. So let's learn about it, look into it. Jay's been a major part of it thus far, and I think that that we can go as far as we need to go with this, because it's all about challenging the duopoly, challenging the uniparty, and however we can do that, we're open to it. So let's go for it. I'm actually very excited about this opportunity. With that said, let me hold on. Here we go. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, I'll have one more real fake news update. We'll do at the end. We got a bunch of stuff for you guys Thursday too. We just don't have time for it, and it'll be better on Thursday. So one more story for you guys. But before we get to that, I think it's time we do some talking back with you guys, because we've had our new YouTube channel monetized. We have some super chats. We have some stickers. We're learning how this whole thing works. It's our first time doing it. And we want to give you guys a chance to engage with us. So let's go ahead and get right to it. I'm going to do my best to do this without Leslie and without Jamie. But Leslie, I think she's watching and she's able to at least help from a distance with some of the Rumble stuff. I can see there are some stickers on here on I think there's either super chats or stickers on the YouTube page, which is awesome. And we're going to get to those first. You guys feel free to throw something on the YouTube channel, or you can also do a Rumble rant on our Rumble page. Either way, we'll prioritize those and we'll get to as many of you guys as possible. Lots to get through because we got a lot of conversations today. We packed a bunch in. So we'll do our best to get to you guys. And we do appreciate the engagement with you because we know you are part of our conversations. This is important. This is an important part of the equation, is that you guys are participating, and then you're able to get out there and you can engage with others on your end, whether on your social media or your friends and family in person, or, texting, and whatever you guys do with your community. You can also be the mouthpiece and the people that can open up dialogue with others that maybe wouldn't be open for that dialogue, but you can help get them motivated to do so. And that's what it's about. Okay, enough banter on my end. Let's get to the talking back. Here we go. This one is, I got to put the right one up because it's not with Leslie or Cheese Slice. It's with me. Where is it? Where's my opening? Oh, here we go. All right, let's do it. It's talking back today with Matt. You guys are ready to engage with us. We're ready to engage with you. You can do this on our Rumble channel on the Homeless Left. It's actually on Twitter as well. You can do it on Matt Weinglass on Twitter, on the Homeless Left on Twitter. We'll get to as many of you guys as you can. But the main thing is, this is our first time doing super chats and stickers on, I think that's what it's called, stickers on YouTube, our new channel, which I don't know how it got monetized. I have no idea how we did this because our last channel got terminated. They literally told us our dialogue, our conversations was too dangerous for the community. It was unsafe, making a safe community feel unsafe by having conversations. How insane is that? And how more insane is that we started a new channel called THL Present, and we started it 5 months ago, and here we are. I guess it's officially almost 6 months. We're almost at the 6-month mark. Here we are, first time doing this show with the monetization. So we have more availability for you guys to engage with us on there now. We have more access, more privilege, I guess more privileges, which then in turn gives you guys more privileges. So we're learning as we go. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Let's get to some of the comments, and we'll start with the I guess there's some super chats or stickers. I don't even know what we're supposed to call them, but here we go. We'll start on here. I got the some of these up here from the beginning of the show. Here we go. Zootzilla. Thank you for the super chats. You can prosecute for criticizing an organization. This is referring to the Bob Vylan duo that is being put through a criminal investigation for standing up for Palestine. I'm not able to get that one up on the screen. Hold on, maybe I can. But I do have you, Zootzilla. Here we go. It's that time again. I'm melting. I love it. Thank you. I think you were our first comment on there. Let me see if I can grab these. Sometimes it's a little weird. Let's do this. Here we go. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay, I got the comments. Thank God. I thought there was a glitch here on YouTube. Okay. You can prosecute for criticizing an organization. Yeah, I guess you can. We just got to learn the law here, I guess, guys. We're not really understanding the law. They keep changing it on us about what's hate speech. I guess Free Palestine means hate speech. Followed up with this one, Zootzilla. Love it. The new chant brings melody to me ears. This is what we're talking about. You have to amp it up. And I'm okay. If you guys if somebody out there wants to debate whether it's going too far to say death to the IDF, if you want to debate that, fine. I will, and Zootzilla apparently will debate against that and say, no, it is okay. It's not going too far. But I'm open to the debate. I get your hesitancy if you think, you're setting yourself up for more bashing, more criticism. Spoiler alert, no matter what you do on behalf of the Palestinian people, you're going to get criticized anyways. You're going to get called hate speech. You're going to say that you're that saying from the river to the sea means death on all Jews. So why not call out where the real like hate and not even hate, the actual terrorism is coming from the IDF. So you guys went out and saw all the Tarantino movies. You guys saw which one was the not Hateful Eight, the one with the Nazi one, where Brad Pitt plays a Nazi killer. What was the name of that one? Brad Pitt famously said in the movie several times, he said, I'm going to kill some Nazis. I'm going to kill some Nazis. And everybody cheered and hollered at that. And how Tarantino rewrote the history by having Hitler be murdered in the movie. And everybody cheered. So the idea that we can't say death to the IDF because they're the ones behaving like Nazis, but even worse than Nazis because they're celebrating it out loud. At least the Nazis try to keep a lot of it secret. They try to do it undercover. We know the world is not going to like what we're doing. So why can we champion a character like Brad Pitt and saying, I'm going to go kill some Nazis, and yet we can't stand on a stage and say death to the IDF? I'm just asking for a friend. Maybe a friend out there who has been directly affected by the IDF, personally affected, and had their entire family murdered. And everybody else that's alive still are starving to death. And when they attempt to get food, they get murdered as they try to put their hands out for flour. Or if they get the flour, they try and eat the flour, and it turns out it was infected with opioids. Yeah, that's also a thing. That's also a thing that the IDF is doing, and we're assisting in it. So, chant away, guys. Chant away. Whatever it takes. Whatever it effing takes. Appreciate that, Zootzilla. Let's see what else we got here. Look at this. We got a raid from look at this. We got I think we got Due Dissonance coming in. Hell yeah. This is awesome. Very, very, very cool. Okay, guys. I think I've been told we do have a raid happening. Let me make sure I got this right. Welcome if you guys are just joining us on the Homeless Left. We are the non-tribal place for news. This is what we're in the same arena. I don't think I want to make sure we got the right right. Here we go. Yes, it's Levin Gutada's opinion. Levin Gutada's opinion. Awesome. Welcome to all your audience here. Welcome, Raiders. We love that you're here. I just got notified, so sorry we didn't give you guys the acknowledgement up front, but thank you for joining us. This is the Homeless Left. Like I said, it's a non-tribal approach to news. We cover the current events, what's going on, geopolitics here at home, even cover stuff in Holly Woke. We call it Holly Woke right here in LA, and just always calling out the media capture and the propagandists that pretend to be journalists as they punch down on us daily, keeping us divided in our little tribes, and we call it all out in our non-tribal approach to news here on the show. We're just going through some of our super chats. We're going to finish up some of those right now and then get on to our next story. But I do think it's important we acknowledge this because this is a big day. We are first time streaming with a channel on YouTube that has finally been monetized, which means it's been legitimized, which is insane because they've tried to stop us the whole way, terminating our channel on YouTube, terminating the Homeless Left doesn't actually exist on YouTube. You know what does exist is THL Presents. That's our ability that we kind of came back and tried again, and for some reason it worked. I don't know how. I really don't know how, but we did it. So thanks to everybody on this, helping us with all this along the way. Let's go ahead and do some more of the super chats here, or the from YouTube. Oh, thank you, Neil Warren. Awesome. Starmer loves Ukrainian rent boys. Yeah, Starmer. We didn't cover Starmer today. And the WEF, of course. Thanks for getting that in there, Neil. I appreciate it. Fuck Starmer and the NWO. Goodbye. Thanks for that. We appreciate the engagement and being part of what we're doing here. And we'll probably do a Starmer story next week. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Sherry Wise has been on our YouTube. Really, really appreciate Sherry Wise. For some reason, I'm not getting your that's weird. I'm not getting them up on the StreamYard, but I'll just read them from our YouTube. From Sherry Wise, thank you for the super chat. Never forget who Trump's lawyer and mentor was, Roy Cohn. And Jay Scott pointed that out. Thank you, Sherry Wise. It's important people know this, and it does keep the debate alive, whether or not Trump is just making dumb moves. Is he being controlled by people around him, or did he get a master class in manipulation and deception from his actual mentor, Roy Cohn? Thank you for that, Sherry Wise. And following that up, Sherry says the fact that CARP refers to analysts that try to screw us means he is vindictive ass who has no respect for alternative perspectives or even considering there might be a valid alternative. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. Oh, they're coming up now. Here's your first one, Sherry. Thank you so much. Again, appreciate you on YouTube doing our super chat with us. And I think I got your next one. It's fun. I think there's a delay or something. I don't know what's going on here. Here's your next comment. 100% right about Alex Karp. 100% right. This guy's a maniacal psychopath. And I would go even further and say it's not even that he's not considering it. He loves it when they exist because then he has a reason to attack them. That's good. It's good when he gets pushed back. Just like Jonathan Greenblatt loves it when he can say, there's some anti-Semitism going on. Now we need to respond to it. They love it. They love it when there's some pushback because then they can pretend and package it like it's dangerous. And now we can do something about it. We can retaliate against it. So the retaliation is something they want to have. So I would say, yeah, he looks forward to any pushback because it gives you an excuse to retaliate against it. Therefore, being more able to mow down people in your way. So yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. And if you guys saw the opening, Max Blumenthal has been talking about this for a long time, about how anti-Semitism is a necessary component of Zionism. It's absolutely fundamental. You can't actually have Zionism without anti-Semitism. They work together. So you have to create it in order to justify your actions. That's how it goes. So I think we got all those on there on YouTube for now. Appreciate you guys, and again, love the Raiders. Very awesome that you guys came in on the show. Let's do a couple more comments. Actually, I'm going to move over to the Rumble chat here. We'll do a little here. I think I'll get in a rhythm now. Oh, I missed this one from earlier. This is from Saad Aman on our YouTube show. This is right at the top when we were covering the Bob Vylan and Kneecap. We all love Bob Vylan and Kneecap. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we were looking forward to going to the show in LA when we found out what happened. And then, what do you know? They get their visas revoked by none other than, it was actually Marco Rubio who pushed it. Marco Rubio pushed it. I don't think we covered that earlier, but it was going to happen. It was inevitably going to happen that the U.S. was going to prevent them from coming to the States because we don't tolerate that type of behavior, which is unfortunate. But guess who did tolerate it? The entire crowd. They tolerated it. The entire crowd at Glastonbury. The entire crowd tolerated it. So that's very cool. Okay, let's get to some of these ones. Welcome one and all. To the show. We'll let's see if we can get some of these other. Oh, Jungle Jer came in. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, thanks. I really appreciate it, Jungle Jer. Let's do this. Funny how people accuse you of doing this for the money. And he's referring to that. Yes, I regularly get attacked for doing this show for money. We're celebrating that we are officially monetized. I think, and Jungle Jer puts this up. This is how it works. Just so I'm being transparent. We'll now start getting checks for $50 once in a while. That's kind of the thing how it works. So yeah, if the idea was to get rich off of a random $50 check being sent from YouTube, then we really nailed it. We really found an in here on how to get rich quick with challenging the Western imperialism machine, U.S.-Israel war machine, challenging Big Pharma, challenging the Ukraine war, because by doing all those things, we actually get punished. That's the problem. And for people to actually accuse us of that, and Jungle Jared, thank you for pointing that out there, because we see it all. I mean, that's people who actually think this. They think that there's some sort of lane for us to make some money, like who's paying, what, Hamas? Is Hamas writing us a check? Because that's the only reason we would have this type of strong critique on Israel, is because we're getting paid, right? That's what they tell you. So no. But yeah, getting a $50 check once in a while might make it worth it. So it's not 100% community service that we're doing here. But again, thank you guys all for helping us at least get to this point. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Wishigo, fucking British Zio cops, shame on them. Yeah, shame on them. Investigating criminal activity. Are you effing kidding me? This is insane. This is insane. Let's see. What else do we got here? Long time listener. Thanks for watching the show today. The poor have had it too good for too long. We can't afford to give them free health care anymore. Billionaires need a tax cut, or else they'll literally starve. Good point there, long time listener. We always have to protect the billionaires. The old too big to fail mantra. Very, very important. Very important. Oh, look, some Facebook action from Allison. Hi, Allison from Facebook. That's on my personal Facebook account. You know, I think we might start a homeless left one. We might start a homeless left one on Facebook. I wasn't sure. I kind of felt like it was old news once we got the show moving. This whole like, let's hope we don't get punished by Zuckerberg. I don't know if Facebook's even worth it, but we're running it on my personal one right now. So anybody who is on my personal Facebook feed can see this right now live. So thank you, Allison. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is a good one from longtime listener. Elon's America Party will be the third Israel party. Oh, that's a good way to put it. The third Israel party. Of course it will be. We already have the Democrats. We already have the Republicans. We need a third one. How about we do a third one? We'll start an American party, which will really literally be the Israel party. There it is. That's it. Great. Good point. Long-time listener. Love it. Oh, Chatterax, thanks again for putting up. Chatterax always puts up good references for us. George Carlin, always a good reference. You guys can go on there before it disappears. Grab this link. Now they're coming for your Social Security. The great George Carlin. Thanks, Chatterax. Appreciate it. Let's see what else we got here. OTR Trucker, thank you for tuning in. Just Israel making America safe for Jews. Exactly. Oh, yeah, the guy we're talking. Okay, so Leslie, she's referring to. Thanks, Les, for putting this up. The guy that's insufferable. So she's referring to the guy I debated this past Sunday here in LA, the Zionist. I might put a clip together and throw it up on for Thursday's show. It was kind of interesting. I don't know how I kept my cool, but the guy was just interrupting left and right, just lying his ass off. Here's one of the lies he said. Thanks for reminding me, Leslie, because she was there to support, and everybody. Oh, by the way, all the crew in the room, they were all like giving me looks the whole time, like, can you believe this guy? So yeah, I did have the side of people on the room. That made me feel better about every time the guy interrupted and lied, saying Palestine doesn't exist. I had to remind him that the Bible was changed to remove Palestine from the map in the Bible in 1912. He didn't know that. He looked at me with this face of, he didn't know that. So I had to tell him that. But I'll grab a clip from it. The show's called Unpopular Opinion. The host is awesome. His name's Damon. He's really cool. And I'll go on there and we'll just debate a topic once in a while. But this was my first time going against a hardcore Zionist. And yeah, we'll throw a clip on the next show and let you guys see for yourself. But great practice. I'm ready. I'll bring another one on the show here. I'm ready. I'm ready to go again. I'm actually, I think it was, yeah, I'm liking it. You let these guys talk themselves into their own ditch, bury themselves, and you just go in and you just sweep the dirt on top of them. You don't have to do much. You don't have to do much heavy lifting. Let them make their insane point about entitlement and how Hamas is apparently the greatest terrorist organization ever to ever exist, because they just have all these incredible things they can pull off, from paying everybody in the world off to, I mean, not to mention paying my bank account. That's awesome. Hamas can do that. But they got everybody fooled. Which is, it's hard. It's hard to fool. It's hard to fool all the Zionists that own all the media companies on the planet and own Hollywood and own through AIPAC. They own all of our elected politicians. But apparently Hamas has a much more sophisticated ability to outsmart all those people and create this fake narrative that we all fell for. That's literally how they dig themselves in the hole. You just let them do it, and then you just kind of push that dirt right on top, and you say, you made your bed, now sleep in it. Okay. Pamela Drew, I know you tuned in when we were doing the segment on the possible virus that might be released. And we appreciate your take on this. The pandemic models are all frauds. PCR tests cannot be used as diagnosis, as they're pushing this mythology to collect regular DNA samples for AI to use with Human Genome Project. And there's a lot of truth in that. We do know that the PCR tests were 95% ineffective, which is worse than flipping a coin. Isn't that interesting that you can flip a coin and be more effective, a 50-50 outcome, than an actual test telling you wrong information 95% of the time, that either you got the thing or you don't got the thing and it's wrong that often. Pretty insane. So yeah, thanks for that, Pamela. Let's see who else we got here. Yeah, CJ, thanks for tuning in on Rumble. Our military has a thirst for blood. Absolutely. Thanks for that. And I didn't address this earlier, but I hope this got worked out. Thanks, Julia MR on YouTube says the video keeps stopping. I just checked it. I think it's okay, but you never know. I mean, we get these glitches. It's hard sometimes. We don't know. 40 trillion debt. I thought it was upwards of 30. I didn't know we hit 40. Yeah, that's where we are. Wait, who do we owe the debt to, CJ? Who do we owe the debt to? I wonder if it has anything to do with the Rockefellers or JP Morgan or Wells Fargo or Morgan Stanley. I wonder who we owe the debt to. Do you think that we might be working on behest of those owners of those banks? What type of people do we think they are? Well, we're not going to mention their race or their religion because that would be not appropriate. But we can mention their mindset. I think they're a bunch of Zionists. We'll leave it at that because you can choose that. You can choose your mindset of Zionism. Yeah, that might be a thing. And maybe one of the reasons why, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe one of the reasons why the Greater Israel Project exists beyond the fact that God told them that the land belongs to them. Maybe another reason might be financial. Do you think maybe every time one of these dictators that we have to get out of the way, maybe they're trying to get out of the U.S. petrodollar, maybe they're trying to have their own currency, and maybe they have a sustainable system that doesn't need these bankers to be part of. And the only way these bankers can get a part of it is if we crush their system, crush their elected leaders, take them out, create chaos, put in a new dictator, a new person that we assign, and then put that country, that system, change the system they're on and put it into a system where they will then go into trillions of dollars of debt with the same people. I wonder if that is part of the plan. No, it can't be. That's too diabolical. That's too diabolical. But if they did need money to rebuild after we demolish them, they'd have to get the money from somewhere. Oh, do you think these bankers would step up and help them? Well, out of the kindness of their heart, they might, like they did with us, which is why, according to CJ, we're up to 40 trillion in debt. 40 trillion in debt. I thought 30 trillion was a lot, but 40. I guess it's 40 now. But we'll look in that. We'll get the exact number. Can we even get the exact number? I don't even know at this point. How do we even count that? We can't even count that high. We can't even count that high. Julia MR, thanks for tuning in. COVID was flu rebranded. Yeah, it was. Fauci told us himself when he was going around. Do you guys remember when he went around New York and went around the places to try to get the minority communities vaccinated because they wouldn't vaccinate? They were the ones that actually held out the most. And he went up to these African-American families. He went up to them and he said, hey, guys, this is important. It's not like the flu. I mean, the flu was bad, but everybody's dying from COVID. And then he literally admitted it. He goes, did you know how many people died of the flu last year? And he meant 2021 because it was in 2022. And the guy goes, how many? And he goes, 0. As Fauci's trying to make the point that this is how bad COVID is because nobody died of the flu last year. And the guy looks at him like, did you just tell me that nobody died of the flu? That's weird. So where are these numbers coming from on COVID deaths again? Now it's making sense. So yes, Julia MR, COVID was flu rebranded. There you go. Let's see what else we got here. Guys, I'll have to finish this up soon, so I'll just see who else we got here. Oh, Manimus. He is talking about the US of A. I don't know the reference of that one. Probably when we were doing the Eric Prince story. Eric Prince story. Leslie says free Congo. Absolutely. Free Congo. We should go left. Came back. I'm back. Eric Prince is a vile POS. Yes, indeed. And I'm glad we covered him. Thanks to Jay Scott bringing that story. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, long time listener. Trump is a useful idiot for psychopaths like Karp. Useful idiot. I mean, we can debate this all day long. At the end of the day, we're going to get the same results. We got Trump, whether knowingly or unknowingly, surrounded by the worst people in the world, and he's not in charge. And you could make an argument. Jay made the argument that Trump knowingly is putting us in this position, knowingly putting himself and his family in this position. It really doesn't matter if it's knowingly or not knowingly or half this, half that. We have the same results. That these people psychopaths are running our country. They're running our agenda, our foreign policy, our economy, bringing in the digital ID state, bringing in this technocracy state, where there's not going to be any escape. There's not going to be free speech. There's not going to be anything. No privacy. We know this. We know how the surveillance state works. We've gone through this before, and now it's ramping up to yet another level of insanity. And there's still MAGAs who think that Trump has some genius plan ready. Not going to happen, guys. I hate to burst your bubble. Not going to happen. Yes, and oh, thank you for this. I didn't know it was a Moscow-based citizen journalist. Thank you for this. Bonzo Beans. Levin Gudades is a Moscow-based citizen journalist. I'm sorry I didn't see this comment earlier. My bad. Thank you for tuning in through this Rumble raid. If you guys are still part of that right now, and you're part of the crossover that Rumble allows us to do here, which is freaking awesome, by the way. Bonzo Beans, thanks for qualifying. This is a geopolitical show from Moscow. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying what we're doing here, and we love that you're doing a geopolitical show from Moscow. We also have relationships with RT here, and are able to get on RT. We were actually able to get the homeless left on RT very recently during our the LA riots from all that the ICE raid stuff that happened here, and we were able to report live from the scene to RT. And it really sucks. It sucks that Biden put sanctions on RT, and we're not able to make a living off of this where we were before. And we got to know all the great people we have here, and we'd love to get to know more of the people in Moscow that are doing stuff like you're doing. The name it's Levin Gudades. So we really appreciate it. And thanks Bonzo Beans for telling us about Levin Gudades, and we'll try and get our viewers over and watch what you're doing. I'd love to learn more. I'd love to live more. Yeah, Leslie, you got the right idea. Give it a follow and check it out, and we'll certainly do that here too. And Jungle Jared, thanks for chiming in here too. We want to make sure if you are discovering us for the first time, now's the time to give us a follow and a like, because we want you guys to know that we'll be here for you to check in anytime, and it's not just a one-time thing. And we will follow you guys as well on the channel you guys came from. We're going to check it out as well. But now's the time, so you don't forget. Please hit not just the like, but hit the follow, because we come to you guys twice a week, non-tribal news every Tuesdays and Thursdays, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter. So we appreciate all that. Thank you guys. And what else? This is it. So this is what. Thanks, Leslie, for check it out. Everybody from our channel, check out Levin's channel. And Levin's people, check out our channel and do a follow, not just a like, do a follow, and then we can stay connected. And that's what it's about. What is this, Bonzo Beans? Tarantino can make that movie about Israel in 2095. I love it. Yeah, that's how long he'll wait, and then he'll make the movie about Israel when society says it's okay to say, let's go kill some IDFs, and we can have the next generation Brad Pitt star can be that character. This is, I'm gonna kill some IDF, and then the audience can go, yay, and then we'll say, yeah, you're about 100 years too late on that one, but that's okay, and we're late to it too, because we didn't know about the details of the 77-year occupation in Nakba. We didn't know all that. Like, I admit that we didn't know. We didn't figure all this out until the last couple years. We knew something shady was going on in Israel. We knew something shady was going on in Palestine. We didn't fully know how bad it was until these last couple years here, and doing the show and just seeing how the world responded, how the side of humanity responded by getting into the street, and then the other side, the anti-humanity side, the people in positions of power, like elected officials, and media pundits, propagandists, how they protected that and didn't want us to know, and then started blaming all the protesters. We were like, this is insane. This is effing insane. And 2 years later, they're still doing this. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, Tarantino can get on board on the real story in another 75 years. Okay, great. Good. Thanks for the comment, Bonzo Beans, and thanks for bringing in and helping us get to know our new followers on the show, and we'll get to know them too. Very cool. Yes. Oh, this is it. Sorry, I got the wrong one. Leslie corrected it. It's Levin Gudada's opinion. Okay. We will absolutely get over to your channel, man. We really appreciate it. And then of course, this is Jungle Jer. Put ours up there too. THL Presents on YouTube. That's the one they're letting us have. So we're going with it. And thanks for spelling it out, Jungle Jer. THL equals the homeless left. Very cool. Thank you. Oh, we got some more ones. Oh, very cool. Thanks, John Dickinson. Thank you. Test 1, test 2. Thanks for that. Much appreciated for the super chat. They're coming in loud and clear now. Thank you. Levin Gudad is a Moscow-based citizen journalist. So they're coming up on my screen now. I apologize. I wasn't able to put them up with the super chat. It's weird. I'm still trying to figure this out. I think it's it might be a StreamYard problem, but I'm looking. Leslie, but October 7th. I love it. And Manimus, you're right. Marco Rubio is the Cuban radical in the government. Yep. We should go. But Hamas. Bonzo, yeah, Facebook does seem pretty obsolete. And I just want to say, I only did it just for an experiment. And I didn't start the homeless. I just did it on my own. I said, let me start streaming on my own personal page because we have so many people here in LA that have no idea what's going on. They fell for COVID. They fell for Trump derangement syndrome. They fell for Ukraine. They are completely confused about Israel and Palestine. They don't know what to think. They like the idea of blaming Trump for stuff, but they don't understand the Biden connection and our entire government being captured. And worst case, they have no idea about how third parties work and how you can challenge the two-party system. And if you're challenging the two-party system, it doesn't mean you're a Trumper. That's the other thing they don't get. So I figured, what the hell? And these are entertainment professionals, people that make movies. This is who they are. They're right here. And they're supposed to understand and care about the human experience. They don't. They're part of the Holly woke culture. You guys know what we do, a segment called Hollywood This Week in Hollywood. We're going to do a good one. Actually, we got a good one planned on Thursday for This Week in Hollywood. But at the end of the day, I don't know if they're ever going to get it. I don't know. So I said, fuck it. We'll just put the stream on my channel. If they happen to scroll down and see it, well, good. Welcome, you guys. We apologize for making fun of you a lot, but we don't mean to punch down. We just want you to know that you've been brainwashed all these years, and we hope that you can get out of your trance, whether it's COVIDian, whether it's Trump derangement syndrome, whether it's Zionism, whatever it is, or maybe a combo of all three. You might be stuck with a sprinkle of all three. Whatever it is, whatever your syndrome is that you're dealing with, we hope you get well soon. Get well soon. We want you to get well. Okay. Enough of that. Okay. No worries, Ed Rams. It's okay. You're late. That's why we keep the show up on Rumble. Watch it raw later. If you don't have time to do that, watch the segments. We'll put them up. We're actually getting better at putting the segments up a lot quicker now. We're actually getting better at that. I don't know if you guys noticed. We're getting them up quicker so you guys can check out any segments you missed. And then share the segments out. If you see a topic that you think will connect with somebody in your vicinity, your realm of social media or closer realm of friends, family, coworkers, and you think it's the topic that'll get their attention, share it out. Say, hey man, hey you, I wanted you to check this out. Hey ma, hey pa, thought maybe this might be an interesting topic for you. Check it out on the Homeless Left. Been watching this show. Might be a good tool to reconnect with people who told you stay home for Thanksgiving, you unvaccinated POS. No, this might be a way to reconnect with them. I don't know. Just, do your thing. Figure it out, but we're giving you options. That's what I'm saying. Is we're giving you guys options. We hope you can figure out something that works for you. Okay, there's some more on here. We'll get to them at the end when we run the credits. And that'd be cool. This is good to know. Thank you, Zootzilla. Free Zaire. Congo is the colonized name for Zaire. I did not know that. Great information. Thanks for telling us about this. We want to be more vocal for people all over the world that are suffering by the grip of the Western Empire and the U.S.-Israel war machine. The fact that whether we're footing the bill or not footing the bill, the fact that we allow horrific atrocities to go on and we pick and choose what the thing we want to align with and what we want to make money on means that we are responsible. We are responsible when these things happen and not shedding a light on it because we have to protect the people that are making money and expanding territory and colonizing, doing their colonialization techniques, trying to do it undercover in some cases, doing it out in the open in others, which is insane. Just to do it out in the open, right, for everyone to see. So wherever it's happening, we want to be part of exposing it. So thank you for that information, Zootzilla. Learned something new today from you guys. So thank you. There's a few more on here. We'll get to them. We'll get to them at the end when we run the credits. Okay, guys, I'm gonna call it for talking back for today. Thanks so much for your engagement, and we'll be right back with one last segment for you. We got an additional real fake news that you're gonna want to see. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Actually, yeah, let me grab this. I did not get this this up here. Hold on. Okay, just gonna grab this real quick, and then we'll be right back. Hold on. There's the card. Okay, we'll be right back with a bonus real fake news update for you. Don't go anywhere. Give us like a couple minutes. Go grab yourself a drink. Go get a bath. Okay, here we are. It's time for a real fake news update, not brought to you by Pfizer. A bonus segment for you guys today. We wanted to give you guys an update on the situation in New York. We're talking about Mamdani and his winning of the primary in New York City for mayor, and the fact that he's not mayor yet, but the amount of backlash, we covered this last week, guys, the backlash we saw from him, and Trump maneuvering his base to pretend that New York City is about to elect a terrorist sympathizer, communist, radical, lefty, crazy guy, which we know is not true. We actually have the opposite problem. We feel that we have to keep an eye on him because he seems to have signs of a Bernie or a Squad or an AOC who talks a good game. But at the end of the day, he'll go right back to the middle right, where they all end up, middle right. Best case scenario, that's a Bernie, where you're actually right wing, but you're not as bad as the other right wingers in the Democratic Party. Oh, did I just say right wingers in the Democratic Party? Yeah, because we have two right wing parties in our country, two right wing parties. And they have a couple of people who happen to be a little closer to the middle, like a Bernie or an AOC, but they're still right wing. Anyways, with that said, let's look at more propaganda being spewed by ADL's president, CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, on MSNBC about Mamdani and what he expects him to do right now. Or else there will be consequences. Here we go.
If he did what you say, what you suggest, would that take away your concerns about his candidacy? Would that be enough?
Well, look, I mean, I want to hear the plans from all the candidates, not just Mamdani. But considering his, past, he was a student organizer for a group called Students for Justice in Palestine. They're the ones who led the systematic marginalization and targeting of Jews on college campuses.
Okay, let's just break that one down first. Hold on. He led a Palestine for Peace group, which Greenblatt here is saying that group for peace for Palestine is responsible for what? For spewing hate against Jews for the last he's about to say for the last 2 years. That's his big takeaway about a guy being part of a peace movement, a free Palestine movement that he was part of, because the narrative being, if you are for peace for Palestinians, you are inciting hate on Jews. I can't. I know we keep talking about this, but you guys, this is the type of these lies he keeps spewing on all these networks. He was on CNN last week. Now he's on MSNBC doing it. And if you guys think for a second that MSNBC is left leaning, where's the pushback? Where is the freaking pushback here? And say that doesn't sound right. What do you mean that the group for Palestinian rights is the one responsible for causing hate against Jews here in the States for the last 2 years? But please continue.
For the last year and a half. And so when Mr. Mamdani shows up and says again, I think this is a very important point, Caddy. He doesn't get to pick and choose which Jewish people he talks to. He needs to come to us. He needs to meet us where we are. If he could do that, he would allay a lot of concern. But look, this guy, he wants free buses.
Wait, first of all, what do you say? He needs to come to you? Who the hell are you? You're the leader of the ADL, anti-Semitism defamation league. Okay. Why does he need to come to you? What is it that when your purpose of your company is to create anti-Semitism in order to push anti-Semitism legislation? That's your purpose. That's what you do. You create, you present what you call anti-Semitism in order to justify litigation to stop free speech. That's your job. So he needs to come meet you to see how he can help you do that more. Do more of that. That's what we need. More creating of what you deem to be hate in order to push more legislation against free speech. That's the best way I can sum it. So again, no pushback from the MSNBC host. No pushback at all, because this isn't journalism. This is propaganda. But continue. What are the horrible things he's up to? What are the horrible things he's up to?
He wants government-controlled grocery stores. He's got a lot of big plans, Caddy. I don't know why, considering his big plans, he's going to need a lot of political capital. He's going to need a lot of allies. I don't know why, again and again and again, he simply won't take this head on, like the Rev said. Kristen Welker did an amazing job yesterday, and he had a chance just to literally put this to rest, Caddy. And like I said at the top, sometimes the things we don't say are actually the loudest. That's what people hear. So that.
Oh, the things we don't say are the loudest. So the things, again, to be most afraid of are the things in your own head that make you afraid. For example, Palestinians want to kill all the Jews because they want freedom and they want from the river to the sea. And so there's a whole list of things that people are conditioned to when they listen to this garbage about the thing to be most afraid of is the thing you can't see, the thing that isn't being said, the thing that so your fear is the worst thing. So again, this is why a guy like this, why a group like this, it aligns with a company like Palantir, aligns with a company that's going to go target individuals, put them on a database. And the crime is the thing that you're not doing, the thing you mean to do. We're going to commit a genocide because you would be doing it if you could. So we're going to stop you because you wanted to do one. And we feel like you did. So the thing not being done, the thing not being said is the problem. Not the actions you're taking, not the actions the IDF are taking, not the actions the U.S. government and the U.S. budget is taking by funding a genocide. Those actions, those aren't the problem. The biggest problem is the thing not being said and the thing not being done. Those are the biggest problems we face. And then we can say whatever we want to say it is because it's all in our head and it's all based on feelings. And that's what anti-Semitism, when you quote unquote fight anti-Semitism, that's what you're fighting. You are fighting with paranoia, with fear, with nothing substantial other than I feel like this. And that's mainly what the campaign is. So now I just had to change the setting. Now what Jonathan Greenblatt is attempting to do is make Mamdani the specific target in this, as he's been doing to all the Palestinian protesters. Now Mamdani himself, he is the guy committing the crime. That's where this is going. You think I'm over exaggerating? Let's see how he finishes up. And I'm going to show you Trump's response to this, because that's the area we're going to now. The things that Mamdani is not doing is now the crime. That's the crime, because it feels like it is. It feels like he's going to cause damage and cause hate and cause horrible things. So the feeling is enough to go on to call him a criminal. Why not? Why stop at the protesters? Why stop at revoking visas? Why stop at taking away rights of citizens who show that they mean to bring harm? We feel like you're meaning to bring harm on our country, so we're going to revoke your citizenship. Why stop there? Why not elected officials too? Why not? It feels like you're going to do something. So that, as Jonathan Greenblatt says right here, that is the worst crime of all, is the thing he's not doing or not saying. Ooh, what else is Mamdani not saying and not doing? Please tell us more.
That's what the Jewish community right now is struggling with. Reform people and observant people, liberal people and conservative people, at a time when anti-Semitism has surged to record levels. The idea of a candidate who won't clearly and unambiguously say, here is my plan, I am with you, leaves a lot of us deeply, deeply troubled.
Okay, well, if he's been watching Morning Joe for the last 3 minutes, he will have heard that message loud and clear. Let's see if he reaches out. CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, thank you very much for joining us.
And thank you for not doing journalism. because all you just did was say, well, let's hope he's listening and he can do the thing you just told him to do. I'm not going to push back at all. I got nothing to say. I got no questions for you. I got no concerns for you. I'm not confused about anything. Everything you said makes total sense. And if he's listening, hopefully he'll respond. If he doesn't respond, then I guess you were right the whole time. He's a piece of shit who his non-action is the biggest problem. So what is going on with the policies? Because from what we hear, Fox News is no longer Fox News, who's going to be, in this case, worse than Morning Joe, MSNBC. But what's the difference? It's all the same. But they sometimes it seems like they're much worse. In this case, they have gone from putting up his policies. Now they're being told not to put up his policies. This is a screenshot of Fox News. You're not going to see his actual policies on the network anymore. Trump has told them, do not show his policies anymore. We're just going to we don't want people to know, because these are looking kind of good when you talk about freezing rent, building affordable housing, talking about affordability, city-owned grocery stores, so that you can't be taken advantage of anymore by these Amazon and Kroger monopolies. He's not shutting those down. You can still go. You can still shop at Whole Foods all you want. Go for it. Go spend $100 on lunch at Whole Foods. Go for it. But having an option of city-owned grocery stores. Ooh, communism. Ooh. So you got the labor one. Let's look at the labor. Raising minimum wage. Oh my God. Horrible person doing that. And ending ICE cooperation. This is this is something that they don't want to throw up on the screen anymore. Okay, we're not going to see it anymore. Let's hear what Trump's actual response is to this, though. Let's see what he thinks of Mamdani and what he's going to do about it. Again, the guy is not elected yet. He's only won a primary. He still has to go through the general election to be New York City mayor. So this is preemptive striking. This is what we do best. We love preemptive striking. We got to do it. We got to get them before they get us. So take it away, Trump.
Beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zoran Mandami, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zoran Mandami.
He said he won't cooperate with ICE. But he's not actually going to be able to do anything about this AI shit, this AI technology, ICE stuff. He's just not going to cooperate. That's what he said. Just to be clear, he said, I'm not going to cooperate with ICE. But whatever. You can say that, he's going to obstruct ICE. No, he said, I'm not going to cooperate. There's a difference, by the way. There's a difference. Just to be clear. So if you don't think there's a difference to that, then why not just tell us what it was? But there's a reason you told it to us differently, because those are different things. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we...
Whoa. I'm sorry. Did he just say we'll have to arrest him? And then he followed that up with, we don't need a communist in this country. Did we not live through this shit already? Did we not live through tell us names? You're blacklisted from Hollywood. You're blacklisted. Did we not live through this? With the communists, the who's a communist, you better tell on your neighbor or we'll come get you. That's pretty insane. We're talking about arresting a not even elected leader yet, elected mayor, arresting him for, did you suggest arresting him for being a communist? Are you freaking kidding me right now?
We have one I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way,
you send money to every mayor in every country. Don't act like he's some special exception. You'll probably be less cooperative with him. As you just said, I will be watching him closely. Okay. Again, we have a different problem here. Our problem is that he's going to go center right. That's what our problem is. So this bullshit about he's this lefty radical. This is not real. This is not real. If Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are snuggling up to him right now, it's because he's willing to bend over to them, to the establishment Democrats who are neoliberals, who are right-wing people that their policies are right-wing. They always have been, at least through our lifetimes. There is no lefty stuff going on. There's the woke shit that they all love to just position themselves and pretend that we're with the rainbow group. Those aren't lefty policies. So the stuff he put on that was on the screen, the Fox News put up, those are what you consider lefty policies. Yes. How is he going to get any of that done? No, he's not going to get any of that done. He's not going to be able to get any of it done. Okay, so that's Trump's response. But the fact that he even suggested arresting him, this is a huge problem. So there's been a reaction. I just want to throw this up. This is Mamdani reacting to Trump's attack, and that was an attack. When you're talking about arresting a New York mayor or a primary winner of the Democratic Party, winner of the mayor of New York City, and you're talking about arresting him for being a fill in the blank, being a what? Being a communist. I don't agree. I'm calling you a communist. He doesn't call himself by the way, he doesn't call himself a communist. You're calling him that. And then you're saying we'll arrest you for that. Let's see how Mamdani responds to that attack. Okay. The president has just threatened me to have me arrested, stripped of my citizenship, put in a detention camp, and deported. Not because I have broken any law, but because I will refuse to let ICE terrorize our city. His statements don't just represent an attack on our democracy, but an attempt to send a message to every New Yorker who refuses to hide in the shadows. If you speak up, they will come for you. We will not accept this intimidation. That Trump included praise for Eric Adams in his authoritarian threats is unsurprising, but highlights the urgency of bringing an end to this mayor's time in New York and City Hall at the very moment when MAGA Republicans are attempting to destroy the social safety net, kick millions of New Yorkers off of health care, and enrich their billionaire donors at the expense of working families. It's a scandal that Eric Adams echoes this president's division, distraction, and hate. Voters will resoundingly reject it in November. Okay. Well, it's good that he called that out, but I think that the biggest takeaway from that is exactly what this represents, and that is if they can come for you, they can come for him, they can come for you. They can come for me. And when are we going to get it through our thick skulls that we have to be for free speech, especially for our enemies or people we disagree with or people we don't even want to be in a room with? We have to be for their free speech too. We have to. That's when it counts. It's easy to be for free speech when it's somebody you agree with. That's easy. That's easy because them talking helps you. So I'm for it. Oh, yeah. You should be able to speak because I agree with you. When you disagree, that's when it's important. So I am urging anyone out there who vehemently disagrees with Mamdani on all of his policies. You think he's a communist? Fine. Think away. That's fine. But you, more than anyone, is what's needed right now. You are needed to speak up for someone you dislike. You hate his policies. You hate who he is. But he has a right to be in this country, run for mayor, and he has a right to win the mayoral election in November. He has a right to win a fair election. And if you think that him getting deported, getting his U.S. citizenship revoked, whatever the consequence that Trump is threatening, if you think that's going to help you because you're shutting up somebody who you disagree with, that's not going to be the outcome here. The sad outcome, it always is this way, is they will come for you next. You will be the next target, or somebody that you do agree with. At the minimum, somebody you agree with will be the next target. And you'll go, oh, wait, why are you shutting them up? because you already set a precedent. And I'm talking to you, January 6ers. I'm talking to you. You should have learned your lesson. What free speech, being silenced, and your right for protest, your right to show up to the Capitol and protest an election was stripped from you. You should recognize, and people like us, we got your backs, and we didn't necessarily agree with what you were saying, but we fought for the right for you to say it. So just know that, how important that is. And those are the voices that are needed right now. The MAGAs, the diehard MAGAs, even if you love Trump on everything he's doing now and you don't have any complaints, if you're going to have one complaint, this is the one. Because then you can agree with him on everything you want. But this is the one where you go, wait a minute. Did you just say you're going to arrest a mayoral primary winner in New York City? The Democratic candidate? Did you just say that? That's what law did he, like, as he stated in his response, what law did he break? What crime did he commit? So just ask yourself that. We need your voices right now. That's important. Just like I know it was important that we spoke up during January 6th, and we did. And we can say wholeheartedly that we were on the right side with that, because it's easy to be consistent on principles if you just apply them every time. It's very easy, guys. Very easy. Not hard. It's very easy to get things right. If you only care about being consistent, you can get things right. You're going to get really mixed up really quickly with all your maneuvering if your number one goal is that your team wins. You're not going to be able to get to the place you think you're going to get to, because you're going to be all over the place, contradicting yourself, just being a self-made hypocrite within trying to maneuver to get to that destination. So don't be that person. Be the consistent principle person that can spot BS when they see it, even if it's against someone they can't stand. Speak up. That's all. Speak up. Okay. That's your real fake news update. Not brought to you by Pfizer. All right, we are closing down the show right now. I'll throw a few more comments up because you guys are awesome today. Damn, very cool, guys. Very cool. I guess these are called, yeah, they're called, you got the super chats on YouTube, and then we also have, are they called stickers? Is that the correct thing we're supposed to call them? Yeah, stickers. I guess that's what they say on the account page. But okay, this is good, Sander. Thank you for tuning in, Sander. In America, socialism means communism. Meanwhile, the rest of the Western world laughs and use universal health care and social safety nets. Yeah, good call. And Zootzilla chimes in. Welcome to America, Memdani. Yeah. And I agree. I personally don't think he'll get his main policy over the line, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong too. Sander goes in. Yeah, he's the left's version of Vivek. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. And he is savvy for sure. Thanks for that. Freedom Finder 123. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, people have lost connection with their principles. It allows them to control us. Yeah, principles are easy. Principles are easy when you're not trying to have your team win or the other team lose. Just be consistent. Call the shit out when you see it. Just be. It's not hard. It really isn't. If you don't care about the outcome of a race or somebody winning, I promise you guys, it's very easy. You can see when free speech is being taken away. You can see when corruption is happening. You can see when the judicial system's being used against a candidate. It's called a banana republic. We saw that with Trump. We saw Biden doing that to Trump. We said that ain't cool. You can't do that. You can't go rig a judicial system against your adversary in a presidential race. We call that out. That's bullshit. We saw the corruption of Biden in Ukraine. That's bullshit. We saw, so we'll call it out when we see it. We're not representing one of the sides. We don't care. We just care about humanity, consistency, applying principle, and don't let people get away with shit. That's it. And Pamela Drew, Sabby calls them super stickers. Okay, we'll go with super stickers. That's a good one. I like it. Now that you said that, I'm remembering that's the term. I couldn't think of it. Thank you for that, Pamela. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. I'll throw some more up on the rolling credits. Today's outro. What do we got? Anything fun? We might have a fun one. I don't remember what we have actually. But I'll give you guys some announcements, some stuff to look out for that's coming up. Actually, no, the outro is not fun. The outro is very oh shoot. Yeah, this is a very intense one. I sometimes like to do funny ones on the way out, but this one's kind of intense. I'll tell you about it in a second. Let me give you guys a few announcements and then we're out. So tomorrow I'll be co-hosting Truthwire with Fiorella. We have a great one planned for you guys. So check that out. I think we're going to go around 10:30 Pacific. So that's going to be 1:30 Eastern. Yeah, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific. We'll be going me and Fiorella on Truthwire. Check it out. We got a lot to get into, stuff we just don't have time to cover here, but she's really brilliant in. We're talking about geopolitics. We're talking about what is happening down the pipeline, the stuff you're not hearing on mainstream, all the stuff. You guys know. And then on Thursday, Kit Cabello, Hardlands Media, will be co-hosting with us. Guest co-hosting, subbing in for Craig Pasta. So we're looking forward to Kit Cabello, Hardlands Media, with us on Thursday. Fiorella, Truthwire, day before that. Wednesday, that's a pretty loaded couple days coming up here. And then we did hear the news that the We the People Party, head of the We the People Party, will be joining us next Tuesday on the show with Jay Scott. And Jay didn't mention this, but the following Tuesday, July 15th, we finally locked in Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. She will be on the show. Really excited about that. So we got some great guests coming up. Other shows we're going to be on. Probably have a Garland Nixon spot coming up. I don't know what it is yet, but I would tell you if I knew, but he'll let me know, and we'll be on Garland Nixon as well, talking more geopolitics and nuanced conversation, important dialogue that we need to have that we're just not seeing on mainstream. But you guys know that. That's why you're on. That's why you're watching, because you know this is what it's really about, having these type of conversations. Okay, that should do it for today. Thanks to Jay Scott for his co-hosting today, and of course, all you guys out there, and Leslie holding it down, Jungle Jer holding it down for us. Bonzo Beans, thanks for bringing in. I think you're the one that brought us. Yeah, that brought us in the. We had the what do you call it? The Rumble Raid. We love that. We love the Rumble Raid. I'll be throwing that up again during the credits, but we're going to check him out for sure. His name is Levin from Moscow. So we're going to check that out. Check out his channel. Let me throw it. Where did it go? Here it is. Yes, this is it. Levin Gudades from Moscow, citizen-based journalist. It's a geopolitical show, and we appreciate you bringing your audience over. We're going to check your show out as well. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll leave you with this. A little hard to watch, but it's children that are no longer with us. They've been martyred in Gaza, and it's just to remind us all the humanity that we are defending every day. If you ever feel like you're getting numb to it, just take a step back and remember, it's okay to feel numb. It's also okay to feel something too. It's okay to go back and forth from both, however you need to do it. We do it all the time. I talked to Leslie about it. We go back and forth, and it's okay. Sometimes your body needs to put up a defense wall. That's what that numbness is. It's a defense mechanism to protect yourself. But then sometimes that wall comes down, and it's okay to shed a tear. And it reminds you that we are human. And so I think that's why it's important that we take these moments sometimes. And just remember what we are fighting for. And we're fighting for humanity. That's what we're doing. And we're just trying to do journalism here because no one else is doing it on mainstream. They let us down, and that's why we're here. They let us down. They've become propagandists, and we're here to bring journalism back, bring communication back, bring thoughtful discourse, thoughtful discussion back, so we can all start acting human again and using our brains and critical thinking and all that stuff. Okay, that should do it, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you back here Thursday. We'll be on Truthfire tomorrow. Fiorella, Kit Cabello, Heartlands Media will be with us on Thursday. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. We're out.